And on today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're going to give you the definitive Olympus pre-game. All the bosses, all the things, all the time. Are you ready to become basement with me? That's right, I've extended it past the floor. We're digging straight to the basement.
Oh, we're going down.
I am one of your hosts, Omega. With me, as always, we have Lucky. I don't know if he's in the basement yet. Perhaps he's on some kind of dumbwaiter system.
No, I'm in the gutter, man. Hey. But I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, a.k.a. Olympus is going to be a trip, y'all. And while we here at CD Omega like to bring you latest and FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for what the JP and EM version of the game. So anyone not want a spoiler should wait for the next season.
Yep, something like that. I will double down on that later, but we'll get into some stuff. But yes, it's here. Shockingly early, they have announced the next Chaldea Broadcasting and already set it up on YouTube like a week ahead of time. So like the go time is rapidly approaching. Audience, I want to just let you know I did the wrist checking gesture, which is wrong in two ways. Number one, you can't see me do it. Number two, even though I check the top of my wrist, when I wear a watch, I wear it on the bottom side. But, you know, hand gestures, human communication. But you're not here for that. You're here to listen about FGO and lots of other things. So let us remind you that this listening to you, or listening to us, you listening to us about this, is brought to you by our patrons, which includes but is not limited to Editor Harback, my second, Blows to G, Carlos Dragon, Ferris, Jimmy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Robyn, Sharvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, Starting 23, Very the Crow. If you like what we do, want to see more, consider us on Patreon. You get access to it. That's what it really helps us out. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Someday I'll do this in like a slow roll PBS intro style. Let's Talk FGO is brought to you by viewers like you. That's probably a nostalgia thing for somebody. Anyway, let's go ahead and check in with everybody's favorite Kohai Mash. Gun!
Senpai! 起きてください.
Yes, that's time. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our burger circuit for pro tips. It's gonna get more emphatic when she gets her gun.
Bang.
Also, guys, if you aren't expecting me to make that joke a lot from JoJo's But Really, Really Fast, I refuse. I will constantly say, gun! Possibly even the joke from the fifth part, which I didn't even realize was out, but it came out like a couple months ago. Mr. Stan Sex Pistols described as, when a mommy gun and a daddy gun love each other very much. But you're not here to hear about that. You're here to hear about pro tips. Unfortunately, they're not good this week.
Oh, no.
I just want to remind you, if you missed the raids, don't fret. You can still get coin drops from the free quests, of which there are a shitload of free quests in this, by the way, in case you didn't notice. It's a fuck ton of those. You can still get coin drops and apples and stuff, so if you didn't clear the point ladder now that the raids are over, you've got like 5 more days to farm to get your last little bits out. And I swear to God, I had something else here, but I forgot.
E for gore.
Like, literally, I think it was in the middle of the night, I thought of something. I was probably, like, doing a raid or something on my phone, or I was checking Discord or something on my phone in bed, which I shouldn't do, but I do anyway. And I thought of something, but because it was at night and my computers were all off, I didn't immediately run to go write it down, and I don't remember what it was, so it doesn't matter. Wasn't that important. Bye.
That was Omega's pro tip, by the way, just leaving his brain.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Forever.
So let us check in really quick, because it will go by fast. Records to the third, a regular achievement topic. I have cleared the point ladder, and I have secured Mordred's costume, finally.
Super important to him.
Yes, it was very important. I tweeted about it. I was like, heckin' finally. Because, boy, it took a while. Like, I forgot how long those last raids were. I was done with the frickin'... Like, I maxed out the point ladder, and I think we still had, like, 2 or 3 phases on all the raids left to go, and I was just like, shit, I literally have nothing to do now. I gotta wait before I can unlock sweet Mordred costume. I'll probably take it with me to Olympus. Why? You'll find out in a second. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
That's it. So, and that's it for that whole thing. Robyn gets to write something funny now. But we're going to move on to, did you finish your master missions? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I used some of that time to write some other stuff and then work on Horizon. But yeah, no, I was kind of like, okay, literally the only thing I need is this costume. I have saved up all the Sage's Chalk. I'm good. Come on. Help me out. I was banking that Sage's Chalk when the thing started. But we're here to check in. Did you finish your master missions? So, they're very easy. You need to defeat 8 servants, except certain bosses. You need to obtain 50 Sage's Chalk, obtain 50 Hippo plushies, obtain 50 Fragments of Iliad, obtain 200 of any currency dropped during the event, and put a caster in your party 5 times. Literally do the event. Like, just Were you doing the raids? You probably got the thing then. I don't think there's any need to check a special guide or nothing. Just, it's done. You did it or you didn't do it. And then let's, I guess, just keep rolling swiftly on. I don't need to worry about this show being short because, spoilers for later, I have 4 pages of pregame notes. Most of it, like I would say 90% of it, is just bosses. Because I tried really hard to like actually like look up all the mechanics and keep track of them and stuff and like describe them to you in a way that makes sense without being like outright spoilers. You're still gonna probably get spoiled on some stuff. Sorry, it's just context. But if you ignore context and just head empty, no thoughts, you can probably avoid spoilers. Some of them anyway. So we can move on to Skelegrams without fear that the show is going to be too short because I'm gonna yell a lot later. There's a lot of, I said this pre-mic in the pre-show with the patrons. There's a lot of caps in the show notes. A lot of caps lock. But let us sail through space right over to JP really quick because Battle in New York 2022 is ongoing from the 16th until the 30th. So pretty clearly blocking this in for the rest of March.
Yep.
We've got some actual details. First of all, Odysseus got some costume updates for his helmet. I think he has 2 new costumes, so he can put his hat back on. Tesla got an animation update. Probably a little overdue, but very nice. We also got rank ups, as you would expect from this type of event. Tesla's first skill got buffed again. So now, in addition to the team-wide NP gain stuff, it also now gives him debuff success up, and the team buff success up for 3 turns. So, yay? I guess the debuff success up is good because he has that stun chance on his NP. So, but yeah, just general supporty type stuff. And Edison got a rank up. I believe this is now because technically his first rank up is to give him a 3rd skill. His second one improves his first skill. So now his 3rd one improves his 2nd skill. No, it's not confusing.
Not at all.
This gives the party 5 to 10% NP for 5 turns, and 10 to 20% NP damage up for 5 turns.
What's cooldown on it?
What is the cooldown on that one? It's probably decently long, but I'm not sure. I can check pretty easily though, because a rank up. Usually the fandom wiki makes sure to grab everybody's string things. Okay, so what is your cooldown on skill 2? Oh, and they improved it as well. Mass production was like 12 to 10 originally, so now it is 10 to 8. So still long, but like normal long.
Yeah.
And then combined with the fact that Edison has a skill for reducing skill cooldown, Wizard of Menlo Park, and then also his 3rd skill gives you 2 stages of free overcharge. Edison is now really just a good, like, generic NP and skill support guy. Like, he gives you team NP gain and NP up, he can give you overcharge, and then also he can give you skill cooldown, which can improve your batteries. Like, he's just a guy who does some stuff. So, consider him. He has some, some slant play in terms of support setup. Probably help you with your looping setups and stuff. Are you looping, son? Speaking of arts loops, Battle in New York also adds both of Nero's old costumes to the RP shop. So you can get her anniversary one and her Bloomers one. They're back. People are really happy about this lotto because it has arrows and bullets in it. A lot of people are like, oh my god, Lasengel actually put Lost Belt bats in a lotto for once. Yay!
Yay!
I've heard many community names for Lasengel now, by the way. There's some angles. There's some lasagnas.
I hear lasagna the most, I think.
Yeah. So there's some other stuff. Don't think I've seen linguine before.
Linguine?
No. I think I thought I saw someone like do like Lagoose or something, but I could just be making that up.
Lagoose.
I don't know. There's a lot of like nobody really knows how to abbreviate. I see like LA, LN, LG. Like nobody knows where the consonants go. We know that it starts with an L.
I could keep going with LS because that's where like you have la and then single because that's where the syllable break is.
I think that's where the syllables are. I've seen LS a few times too, but it seems like there's not a community consensus yet. But that's in there. We have 2 split rate ups, so 2 separate banners with different free SSR pains and all that other stuff. One is Odysseus and Nero. So remember how in 1 I talked about how Odysseus didn't have a solo rate up in like 2 years? Here it is.
Ta-da!
And technically that'll probably line up with 2 years with our usual, like, 2-ish weeks of acceleration. So, funny how that works. Though, it might be deliberate, like I said. I do kind of feel like, now that they're Lasengel, they feel like they've been, like, more aware of the global presence since taking over at the start of this year. But it's Odysseus and Nero, and the other one is Tesla and Edison. And honestly, decent banners. Like, especially, I know we got a collab to worry about at the end of next month, but with probably no big story release coming until, like, at least anniversary-ish time, depending on things, because there's no way they can do all those Road to 7 campaigns before then. There's not enough months. These are decent banners. Like, Odysseus hasn't had a solo raid-up in, like, 2 years. Nero is story-locked, and Tesla and Edison are both story-locked, so not awful. Also, this is another interesting weird one. General audience may not have a context for this, but there is a NPC that returned as a shopkeep. They are an NPC who is not yet playable from Summer 5, so a character we are about to meet in the NA version. But they are a shopkeep in the new Battle in New York, and they have voice lines, so that's unusual. I wonder if this means something, or it will continue to be on our checklist like Siduri.
I'm about to say, it's like, I remember a certain shopkeeper from a Battle in New York.
Yeah. So I will say that does not necessarily break Battle in New York's mold, Siduri, Dumuzid. Now, this character who I won't name because that's probably a spoiler, but like I said, you'll see him later this year. You'll catch up on the context. And then you can join in and knowing that they're not going to come, they won't come out for like at least 2 years.
Pain,
Yeah. But that's basically as far as I know about it, other than like I mentioned a little off mic. We do have some list of some of Space Odysseus' crew, which includes some funny cameos. We have VR Tomoe in all caps, for instance. Hercules 9L is here, as seen from the CE, which is in the thumbnail. Kirky is Dr. Kaikion. Medea Lily is Sweet Witch. I don't know why Martha is Inspector Martha on a crew, but don't ask questions, you'll get punched. And as I said, something that will probably have to be changed in localization. Apparently, Paracelsus is just Dr. Evil. That one's not going to fly in English, I'm pretty sure.
Probably not, but we'll see what they do.
I mean, they could always reverse it, right? They could do, like, old-school Yu-Gi-Oh! Translations. They could call him, like, Dr. Akuma.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah. Chad immediately has gotten on to why that's not okay. Yeah, Arash's Star Arrow. Proto-Arthur is apparently as Star Sword. So yeah, there's the... We won't get the deets, obviously, for a while, but it looks like the Servant-verse cameos and the fun Yokes return. Apparently, they showed up in New York to be part of the Gaiden for Season 6 of Saber Wars. So there's a lot of fun stuff and things going on with that. But with that, we're going to move on to the NA news. It's going to go down pretty fast, but in general, this is why we are going to do the Lost Belt 5 Part 2 Olympus pre-game, because, first of all, we got the Lost Belt 5 pre-release campaign from the 16th until the 26th. Log in every day to get 1 apple a day. So log in for 10 days to get 10 gold apples, which I am currently eating those gold apples to do free quests to get more Saint Quartz. I'm literally doing it right now. That's okay. I have 600 gold apples. I need to spend some of them. I expect I will be eating a few more during the actual story, because that always takes a bajillion AP as well. And then also, like I said before, announced way ahead of time, Chaldea Broadcasting Station US Branch Volume 15, occurring on the 23rd of March. And yeah, it's happening. It's already up on YouTube. Let me actually grab that link and see if it is a stream that is scheduled or a premiere.
I'm going to assume premiere. Because they have...
Nope, live in 4 days.
Oh,
live
wow.
stream. So this is scheduled way the fuck ahead of time. And will allegedly be live. Though that's obviously no guarantee. They won't have pre-taped segments. I believe they did it last time they were live, but had segments recorded. We have a social media campaign for 5 Saint Quartz, so if you haven't already, please get me to, I need the Saint Quartz, y'all.
Remember, this is what Meg has been training for his whole life.
Well, and also, the other thing I was training my entire life for was fucking Odysseus, and that I got bled out and got nothing, so...
Now we're in the second movie, and it's Omega's Revenge.
Yeah. Does look like there needs to be some work done. There's only 8.5k likes on the tweet and 4,100 retweets, y'all, so...
Both combined, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's combined with Facebook as well, but it's supposed to be 30,000, so... Need to do a little more legwork, y'all. Here, let me quote tweet "This is me," and then I can retweet that later as the channel. But yeah, so if you want your free Saint Quartz, that's there.
Megan's.
But we do have some details. It will be hosted by Albert and Edamura-san as usual, and our guests are locked in as Minami Tanaka and Rumi Okubo. So we got everybody lined up. And as I said before, expect this to be 0 hour, folks. Forks? Yes,
Forks.
Hold on to your forks, guys. You're gonna need them, because we're gonna stick them in you, because you're gonna be done after this. Boom. But if we follow the usual trend, I don't believe there is a maintenance scheduled yet, but I will double check. But we're gonna get the broadcasting live stream, and then probably that night there will be maintenance, and then it's gonna be on like Donkey Kong. So let's see, maintenance. No maintenance is yet scheduled.
Yet.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're calling their shot like a week early. But still, like I said, expect this to be 0 hour. Okay, there's about 14.5k reactions on Facebook, so we're almost there.
Heck.
We need basically either a little bit more juice out of the Facebook, well, a decent amount of juice out of the Facebook, or a little bit more juice out of the Twitter post, and we can put us over. You got a week, it's fine. I also suspect that we will probably get 10 Saint Courts at the end of this, with the stream and stuff.
With the stream and the stuff.
The stuff stream. The stream stuff. And yeah, that's basically the news. Like, it's a little light, but also it's not light because it's very heavy on anticipation. I could have dragged that out for a lot longer, but I decided not to. And if you don't get that joke, you might be a tiny baby. Or you've never experienced the cult film sensation Rocky Horror Picture Show. In which case, why? But that's all I got for the news, which means it's time for the bag.
It's time for the bag, but give me 1 second.
Lucky needs a second. I'll take a drink of water to refresh myself.
Right.
I'll check in with chat.
How's everyone doing? No, I was just working on something while Mega was talking because I like to work on things. So let me.
We multitask here.
There we go.
Hey.
Did I miss a spot? I have to clean it up a little bit more, but.
Well, it seems immediately popular.
Yes.
Lucky has created another comma sticker that people are enjoying.
Yeah,
if you want the stickers, join our Discord. Link in the description.
Alright. Now, this is correct. One can never have enough comma. Well, this is Valentine's Day, and then you might have a little bit too much. For reasons. Alright, but I'll fix that later.
Oh, I expect comma... I'll explain why later, but a tease for you. I expect that my comma is going to get some action in this upcoming Lost Belt. Ooh. There are writers, and there's an alter ego.
But with that, let us begin this week. Let's talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. Some people might have been wondering this week, hey, Lucky, where's Mailbag? Although no one actually asked me. Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. It's cool. It's fine. But I actually did, this was mentioned last week. You're actually wondering, I think you said on Mega, it's if people, if we wait longer, do we get more?
Yeah, because I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was late. It was like Thursday or Friday.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I see what I did. I missed the area between the finger. Okay, that's what it was. I'll fix that later. But yeah, so I want to see what happened if I leave it for the last day, and we got. Let me check here. Wait, actually, let me refresh. Let me be kind. Let me refresh here. 15. Yes. So. Again, that's like I say, I posted it this morning at some point. I don't remember when exactly. 10 hours ago, it says.
10 hours ago, allegedly.
So 1.5 an hour on a day. That's a number. Maybe I'll write it down. Maybe I won't. I have to deal with a lot of numbers. Loft, Dallas, if you're listening to this, make sure you give me those fucking numbers. And the Cabal. I need them for stats. So, with that though, we got 15. We will probably move as we usually do. I can't necessarily say that'll be fast or slow.
We're only 20 minutes into the show, so we don't need to go fast and we don't need to go slow.
I mean, again, how many pages was the pregame?
It's 4 pages.
It's
and
4
like
pages.
I said, I'm probably going to have to explain some things. I'm also going to want to explain my emotional feelings about things. And at some points, Lucky, if you're actually able to comprehend the words I'm speaking to you and you don't just zone out because I'm going to have to talk about so many goddamn bosses, you're probably going to be like, what the fuck?
I'm looking at this. You didn't double space at all. Every single line, there's text on it. Every single line.
No, it's wall-to-wall text.
This is a fortress of text.
Oh, that's my noble phantasm. Fortress of text. Lord text a lot.
Oh, God. This shit's horror 8 right here. So, we shall begin. And this first one comes from a master chart and a course for complete global economic domination with the support of both Koyanskayas and NFF services. I heard global economic dominations, and I just think of Wesker and Six going complete global saturation.
Man, it's a very common meme, yes.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, maybe I should play 6 at some point for you guys. No, 5. Excuse me. Maybe not 6. Not 6. I think I'm talking about this. I only played one chapter of 6, and as soon as I started Chris's story, I was just like, ugh. But this person goes on to say, "Hey, Lucky Omega, hope the trades treated you good. I acquire over 300 million QP myself." See what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm happy. My question this week is, do you think Jalter could have worked being added in Apocrypha's story, given her personality and tremendous power? I think she'd have been an interesting angle to the greater Greya War. Stay awesome, my dudes, and see you in Olympus. P.S. Do you know why Amakusa and Jean weren't summoned for the event? If Darnik was using the data from the War, surely that would include them as well. I do believe this is actually commented in the story, but I can't remember where.
Yeah, I think he says somewhere that he deliberately removed the rulers because of the interference.
Yeah.
You could also say that because it's supposed to be a replication of the actual war part of the war, that the rulers are skipped.
Mm-hmm.
Though I believe ruler is one of the classes you can get for, in like the story one, it's one of the classes for the pseudo Heaven's Feel, like as the final boss version or something. So like it tracks. I believe it's discussed somewhere, but I don't remember in the text, as we said. Now, as to your question, could we work in Jalter? I mean, we could have, but I don't know. Like,
I mean, there's always the possibility you can work a character in. That is the glory of writing and fandoms in general. Is if you can think of it, you can work it in.
Yeah,
but
well, as this person says, right? Like, Jalter has a tremendous personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably shape things. I mean, we already see the jokes with, Jalter and Fafnir later in Oniland, for instance, and a couple of other points. Like, I think we could have added her, but that probably would have overcomplicated things in a plot that is already grossly overcomplicated by the fact that there's, like 16 fucking characters in it.
Yeah,
you've got both factions, you've got Sieg, and you've got technically Darnik in it, and like. You're in it too, so yeah, we're already in a really dense ensemble cast, and then adding in like an extra factor of weirdness to it, I feel like that might like overpower the core thing, which is this is supposed to be kind of a epilogue beat on APOC. Hence why it, happens in a dream, like so many of our other things.
Mm-hmm. And a dream.
You dreamed a special dream.
So. With that, we shall leave it then. Also, Axe, don't throw too many stones. I don't know how many people here have actually read the Apocrypha light novel, as it is not, officially published. Again,
well, and also, I mean, I do want to say, though, to the original point, I think that this already goes to the effort. You spent a lot of time with Sieg and kind of his weird, awkward, like, vibes between, like, yo, I'm a giant dragon now, but also, like, I need to talk to you like a dude.
Be friends?
So, yeah, it's... I think it does a lot for his character anyway, like in the FGO context, which is important because the anime is kind of infamous for the fact that he's a lot like Shiro in that respect, only, first of all, there are so many adaptations of all the different routes of Fate Stay Night, you get a good grasp of what Shiro's character is like, but also, they do manage to pepper in enough of the monologues that it works. Or alternatively, you have adaptations like Unlimited Blade Works, where because Shiro is literally arguing with himself, he externalizes his internal monologue. He yells at himself a lot. So, like, I feel like people have less problems with Shiro because they've had multiple adaptations to, like, get into his mindset. Because in the original visual novel, Shiro is also a very introspective character. And in the original, like, Dean Fate Stay Night adaptation, Shiro's kind of a dumbass because it's the Fate route, which is the most himbo Shiro route, and also, because it's an anime, they don't really dive into the fucking... Y'all have played FGO, you know how Nasu writes. So, it's an interesting thing. I think that, like, we could have, as somebody in chat says, we could have tucked in Jalter as, like, a weird spin on Jean, but that would have become the big thing, right? Like, that would be the weird X factor in this matchup. I think interacting with Sieg and then slowly like punching up the cast roster works. Plus, Vlad gets to be the cool guy with the impaling at the end.
Stabbing.
We had a Darnik story sprite and we eat him.
Eatus deletus. Alright.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this, Lucky?
No.
Alright. Let's cruise control on.
cruise control on. So thank you very much for that. We move on to the Eternal Storm, who says, "Hey guys, hope you're both taking care of yourselves." My legs are dead, y'all.
Probably need to eat a little healthier. I should go eat an apple after this.
Actually, more apples. Questions. In honor of possible Lost Belt 5 Part 2 coming out, possible. It's happening. You cannot stop it.
Yeah. We're locked in, buddy. We got the stream announcement.
I wanted to ask, other than the ones that have been revealed, what classes do you think the rest of the Greek gods are? Thank you and have a wonderful week.
I know because of story spoilers, so I probably shouldn't answer this because I've cheated. I've looked into the future.
Again, and if there's actual answers, I don't want to guesstimate, because then I'll be wrong if I'm not.
Like, there are a couple we can probably assume because they aren't active parties. Like, we only meet, like, Apollo, right? As a sheep. He's already blown up in the timeline. I assume Apollo would be an archer, though. I wonder what Hades would be. Would Hades be a rider? He has a big dog. Hades could also be a ruler.
No, Hades would be an assassin.
It's true. He does also kill people.
Like, again, it's one of those weird things, as he is basically considered an aspect of death, and, all death is attributed to him. He can be attributed to killing a fuck ton of dudes. So no, he'd be an assassin.
Well, yeah.
People fear him.
He is Thanatos' boss, right? So
yeah. So
there's a few ways you could take that.
Yeah.
Some of these I don't even know. Like, what the fuck with Hephaestus? What do we do? What do we say that is? I don't know.
Berserker?
Yeah, I'm about to say Berserker because he's so focused on his work.
Yeah. He'd be Berserker, like as I said. I said Hephaestus has done some crazy shit, y'all.
He's made a lot of things, some of which were probably questionable. Why did you build this? I don't know. Well, that's better than because my wife asked me. Yeah, Ares is absolutely a berserker.
No, he'd be a saber, because where else was fucking Altera gonna get her sword?
But he lost the sword, Lucky. He doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, that's only after he got his ass kicked.
He could still be. Well, I don't know. Actually, I suppose if berserkers can have swords, we're gonna argue with it.
I mean, I'm like, no, they can't. What berserker has a sword? Beowulf has swords, but as soon as he doesn't appear, he's like, no, I punch now. Oh, I guess Spartacus does have one.
I feel like we're going to get a list of several characters who are berserkers who have swords.
That is not... Herc does not have a sword. He has a rock on a stick.
Raiko has a katana. John has 3 katanas.
Okay, John does not count because he's literally trying to be the edgiest edgelord. But Raiko is... And Lancelot does not count because anything he picks up is a weapon.
But he does still have Elendite.
Okay, Musashi counts as well.
There's a few.
There's a few.
Yeah, I did, like... Though you brought up an interesting question, like, because we don't know about the Lost Belt stuff, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, if Ares never lost his sword, I guess he probably would be a saber. The interpretation of Ares in classical mythology, definitely a berserker. And honestly, I think he's depicted with a spear just as much. Oh, I don't think we ever see Athena.
Athena will be a lancer.
Yeah, gotta be a lancer.
Gotta be a lancer. Honestly, I had a thought. What were people? I had a thought before that happened. I can't remember what it was. Damn it, I lost it that quick.
There's a lot of people in the peanut gallery. Dionysus, berserker.
Dionysus would be a berserker, yes.
Also, Dionysus could probably... I haven't done this one yet, but I probably should sometime. Dionysus could probably mythologically just count as a servant, because much like Herc, he was born a mortal man, and then deified later. I guess he'd probably be caster.
Yeah, again, this is why also I do want to kind of avoid, like, this is the thing why I always have with casters. I want to try to avoid just cramming in as many into specific classes just because they're a little weird. Servants and, mythology, just by the fact of existing, is generally very weird and do very stupid things. And, because here's the thing about storytelling. Storytelling usually starts with something stupid happening, because if nothing stupid ever fucking happens, nothing interesting would ever happen.
Yeah,
interesting story.
The classic paradox of, like, you need conflict.
Yeah. And
which conflict, is why, I think I've talked about, I don't like when writers try to frame the conflict as dumb, because they made up the conflict. Yeah. If you had to write a dumb conflict in order for your plot to happen, that means you did it dumb. Sometimes you can write it as, well, this conflict occurred because the characters, as they are envisioned, are being dumb. But when you phrase it as like, yes, this conflict is stupid and pointless, it's like, okay, buddy, well, you wrote it, so I guess you're stupid and pointless. Goodbye. Hang up phone.
Honestly, I put Hera as an assassin because, man, she do a lot of plots to kill people.
Yeah, I don't know. Hestia, I think, could also count as ruler, because as Hestia I mean, like, when you get to, like, Vestal Virgins and stuff, like the Roman version, that's basically a mystery cult. Castor really works, but
yeah,
the Olympian Hestia is just described as, no, she just manages the fire. She doesn't really do anything. She makes sure that everything is fine.
She makes sure everything is balanced and even.
And sometimes that is interpolated as the stepping down for Dionysus, but that is probably a myth constructed by people who wanted to create the rise of Dionysus, and Hestia wasn't as popular.
Because they wanted to have their sick-ass wine cults!
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, drink, everybody. Red from OSP has a great video on dissecting where Dionysus comes from, and basically the way that works is that, much like Hermes, Dionysus is probably just Pan again, but, like, through another, like, oodle and boodle of reinterpretation, and, like, the wine cult thing. Alternatively, he's also probably a hybridization of the actual mythological Zagreus, who just doesn't exist anymore. Sorry, Zag.
You tried.
But it's just one of those moments of, like, we go through all this stuff. I actually really know how... I guess Eris could be a berserker. I mean, she's not an Olympian. If we're gonna go to every single god, there's way too many.
No. Like, we stick with the main pantheon.
There's 12.
Yes.
They usually go out of their way to say there's 12 of them.
Like, we give Hestia because, technically it's been, like, the Hestia Dionysus thing is, a thing. But, yeah, no. I think that's everybody? Question mark? I'm not sure, but either way, we should move on. Again, I have to, turn to imaginary mode again and do the question because I don't actually know which ones are which.
Yeah. I mean, there's some we haven't commented on, but we may remember that there are canonically named some characters who are in the list of gods who are on the enemy team. So, Hey, guess what? Wojame said he's best buddies with Zeus. So,
I mean,
this is why I talk about context clues later. Let's move on.
So this next one comes from Randy Husbands and the Stars. I'm assuming we're talking about Randy from Elden Ring, which is the witch who has, like, what, 4 arms? 6 arms? She's blue
and she has, like, 3 arms, I think. Or does she have 4? How many hands do you have? She has 4? Okay. Sometimes 4. I only see 3, but it might just be a camera angle thing.
Again, I am interested in Elden Ring, but I'm not going to be actually going to buy it until everyone shuts up about it.
I mean, I'm literally waiting for a price drop. Well, not just for that. Like, I have other things in my backlog. Stranger in Paradise came out today. I'm probably not going to get it right away.
I'm playing it right now.
Because Ghostwire is going to come out soon. And
I
mean, the reason why I'm not picking up Stranger in Paradise is because, like, literally yesterday I finished Horizon. I'm like, guys, I paid like $60 for Triangle Strategy. Please, I want to play my game. So I'll probably do that
selling well
tonight while I'm waiting for the episode to cook. But anyway,
so pause. Oh yes. They say, hello, Lucky and Meg. I just wanted to post mailbag saying how much I appreciate and look forward to the show every week. You're going to make me cry. Don't do that. I wish you both a good week and good luck on the upcoming Olympus banners. Am I actually going to be rolling on the Olympus banners? I'm not sure. Well, actually, no. I know me. I'm going to be all like, oh no, Canis! And I might have to roll over her. I don't fucking know.
I'm going to predict that's going to happen to a lot of people. And I will put a pin in this one. Because this is like mailbag number 3. Put a pin in this one, and then come back to me later when we're in the pregame for me to pull that pin.
Okay.
I have a specific logic for that statement that you guys will see at home. Anyway, continue.
So, excuse me.
Oh no, chaos is in Lucky's lungs.
Oh god, yes. Sorry, I have to pause for chaos.
There's gonna be so many chaos jokes.
Oh god, no! I think the greatest thing I've seen so far. You can see it in our 14 chat. There's already people going around in game as Jack Garland just talking about wanting to fight chaos. I'm like, yes, this is the content I want. But we move on. This next one comes from Moon is trying to balance on high heels since it's been a year since she last wore them. Pray I won't hurt my ankles. Again, high heels are fun, but I never understood like stiletto heels. They're very hard to walk in.
Like, I mean, that's part of the whole like patriarchal complex about like the corset, right? Is like,
yeah,
there really is no point to stilettos other than it, because it lifts the ankles, it makes your, legs and butt look good. And also, if you are a lady and you want to feel empowered, this is the same for dudes. Gaining about 6 inches is cool, but
it's usually not 6 inches.
Then you gotta walk around in them. No, they're not usually 6-inch stiletto heels, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah, no, like, This is why I like good when I'm looking at heels, I prefer like the wedge heels or the chunky heels. So you have something firm to step on.
That's why God invented platform shoes. Stable. It's in the name. By the way, that gift reminds me, I saw I don't think you didn't retweet this, even though it would totally be a you retweet. But it's somewhere in my tweets. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, but that one music producer guy who did the thing with the Endwalker.
Oh,
I found his tweet. Alex Mokala.
Oh, Mokala.
Yeah. He was at Square Enix apparently recently because he's in front of some stuff, but he is just chilling with a giant prop sword talking about killing chaos that somebody got him. It's even got the person credit. I'm just like, look, you would appreciate this. I will retweet.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad he actually went out to Square Enix. I know he's been that's his dream, being the getting to work on that. So sick. But Moon has to say, hey there, Omega and Lucky. Hope you're both doing well. Since Ramadan is around the corner, and people like to dress traditionally at this time of year, what culture traditional wear would you like to try on and why? I mean, I would love to fucking wear a fucking hakama, man. Like,
yeah, I know that would be pretty boss. Some of those look comfortable too.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, definitely
maybe try
the hakama and the big pants.
Mm-hmm. I would like to maybe try Jinbei. Get a solid yukata. Listen, I have never been shy. I am a huge weeb, and like I can actually say that I am a Japan otaku. I actually really really do enjoy Japanese culture and all that crazy stuff. So I'll be like, yeah, no, it'd have to be all the Japanese style, all the Japanese styles. Like Senpai. Actually, funny you mentioned Ramadan because the one time that I was deployed in the Navy, we actually made it to actually, where was it? Oh yeah, it was Dubai. We made it to Dubai during Ramadan, so it was an interesting time. Seeing everyone, during sunset on their mats and whatnot. I was like, damn, this is me when I was young and stupid. So I didn't, fully understand what was going on. But like seeing Ramadan over in Dubai was an experience. Oh man, sometimes I miss being over there. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Travel is cool.
It is cool.
Other shit, not cool.
Traveling to other countries puts your own country into perspective.
Traveling is rad. Being shot at with missiles, not rad.
That though. Let us move on. So this next one comes from the fool who spent all of his void dust sending Caster Coup instead of upgrading Waver's attack boof. That's a triple oof. That's a oof, oof, oof. We're Street Fighter now. But they say, Dear Lucky Omega, are there any CEs that you'd like to see converted into official character skins? Personally, I go for Nightingale for obvious reasons. But the Chaldea Boys collection really makes me want to see Moriarty in a leather jacket. It is a good one. Well, guys, listen. If we start talking about which costumes we actually want to see, which CEs we want to see as costume, the list does not end. It does not.
We would be here forever. I feel like somebody, because of I think some of the CEs that just came out, somebody even asked like, "Hey, what if you could see a CE as like a vignette or a short interlude? Which one would it be?" And like that's also its own thing.
There's so many good CEs.
Like there's a lot of really good designs. You know how like Gouda Gouda's constantly out there with Medusa CEs.
Medusa,
many of which are costumes. Detective Medusa win. But like that, as we say, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna be here forever because that's kind of the point of the craft essences. Obviously, they have a mechanical point, but I think the reason why they have art and are not just like a thing, like a little equippy doodad, is so that they can have lots of artists in this game and community, this fandom that is huge and has inspired a lot of artists and has a lot of artists who work on it and all that blah blah blah, like
blah blah blah.
And they can like get them involved and have them draw designs and arts for characters that you don't normally see and scenarios and whatever, because that is easy to do, whereas, rigging costume sprites and recording new voice lines is not necessarily like something they can just go and do. And not that CE art you can also go and do, but if you're like, you call an artist and are like, yo dog, you want to do a craft essence for FGO, the kind of people they're contacting are probably like, yes, I have an idea. And then you go through probably one round of revisions where you just have one single art piece to work and not all the other stuff.
Oh, I don't have anything to add on that, so we shall move on! And we shall move on to the Black Cat on the streets. That reminds me, I did actually finish Codex Alera, and I have actually moved on to the Aeronauts win list again. Jim Butcher, if you are listening to this, I seriously doubt you are, please give me some update on which book you are working on next.
Hey, what are you working on right now, Jim?
What are you working on right now, Jim?
I know that there was like the whole pandemic thing and like Battleground and peace talks were very big, but like, help me out here, okay? I talked about this. I need to reread Aeronauts Windlass again. It's been a long time.
Like I said, I'm listening to it on audiobook right now, and it's very good. Actually, did you get a chance to listen to Flora Linda and the 40 Flight Tower?
No, I have not been listening to audiobooks lately.
And that's how it'll be.
Hopefully I can do some of that maybe with Triangle Strategy, as I have to slowly do tactical gameplay.
Tactical movement. So, this person says, "Hello, Lucky Omega, sending my good fortunes."
Those are not vibes.
Yeah, those are not vibes. And that good's in quotations. That makes me believe there are strings attached to this. I don't trust it. P.S. Amakusa really needs Semirama's devotion and her heart. 20 hearts per skill is a lot to get.
That is kind of a lot of hearts.
That is a lot.
Skills are wild, yo.
So, we move on. Agent 418 is next, and they say, "Hello, Lucky Omega. Have a great weekend." Thank you very much. They add on a P.S. Hope your farming went well. It went okay. And P.S.S. With Katakawa announcing simulpubbing light novels, does this excite you both? I'm pretty sure this excites me more than it does Omega, as I am a light novel reader. But no, this I think in general, people can say I am excited, and Omega's probably a little excited, just a little bit.
It's neat. I mean,
it's neat.
Call me when they're publishing Fate light novels. Call me when anybody publishes Fate light novels over here, actually.
No, but definitely I've been seeing in the past year that light novel translations have been getting closer and closer to their Japanese counterparts. I believe let me see here, what was it? Yes, I'm the evil overlord of Intergalactic Empire. The English version only came out a couple months after the Japanese release of it. So no, they've been pushing it up. They've been pushing it up. Like I said, light novels again are in this space, actually all sorts of light novels, because like I said, Chinese light novels are getting big, Korean light novels are getting big, Japanese light novels are getting big. Again, we have reached a level of globalization where people basically want, foreign content immediately. And publishers, both, foreign and domestic, are easier to make that demand because that means money. And again, another thing about, probably the greatest thing about the pandemic is it really made people double down on figuring out how to talk to each other without having to be face to face. And that has pushed a lot of technologies into, faster and more efficient communications, which honestly is probably one of the biggest things about, localization and whatnot that probably hampers things, is the fact that people have to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, so if they streamline that process and whatnot, yeah, it totally makes sense that, we get to, eventually publication of light novels. So yes, I am super excited about that.
Yep.
Just means that I'm going to run out of space on my bookshelf even faster.
Speaking of that conferencing thing, that's interesting. Hideo Kojima's been on Twitter again.
As you do.
And apparently he's getting some big reps from Sony lately.
Oh, really?
He used their new teleconferencing technology, Motto, to observe some mocap filming at Santa Monica Studios.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I know that Sony does actually rent out their space at Santa Monica Studios for mocap. There was another game that was recently had their mocap work done there that wasn't a first party, but still, he got some care packages from Sony as well. But that teleconferencing thing is that's a big deal. He can have his actors, who are probably Western actors, knowing him, shoot, mocap and stuff, and he can direct without having to get on a fucking plane in this day and age and fly over the ocean. It's cool.
It is very cool. And with that, we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from So Many Books, So Little Shelf Space. I know this feel. God, how much shelf space do I have left here? Let me check here. I have half a shelf. I have half a shelf of space left. And I've already been squishing things down, trying to make them fit better. God damn it.
Slight rip.
Slight rip. They say, Dear Orchist?
Yeah.
Omega and Libromancer Lucky. I wouldn't say I'm a Libromancer. I just have a lot of book. How are you doing? I was wondering what the most frustrating book you've gotten so far. Thanks and keep up the good work. Y'all are one of the highlights of my week. Well, thank you. P.S. In case you didn't figure it out, the references are Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. I would not have guessed that, no.
I mean, yeah, I kind of would expect that. Libromancer's kind of new. It, just came out. It's a funny name, though.
Yeah. PPS, it's been a couple days since this was brought up, so I'm contractually obligated to ask this. Did you know that the Killing Stone broke, so Tom was once again unleashed upon them? What contract did you sign? Show it to me. Show me
the receipts.
Show me the receipt. Who issued this contract? Who did you sign it? Give me a date and time so I can tear it up and slap you. Stop mentioning this. It's done.
Yeah, no, in the middle of, I think, was it actually pre-recording? I think it might have been in the middle of the Fail Portrayal stream on Tuesday. I was like, somebody post about it again in general or something, and I'm just like, maybe it was Let's Take FGO. I'm just like, oh my god, do I need to fucking at everybody in announcements to be like, yes, we know about the goddamn rock. Everybody knows. If you think you don't know, you do know. And then Dallas was like, I didn't hear anything about the rock, and I'm like, shut up, Dallas.
Shut up, Dallas.
Stop not agreeing with my point. It doesn't. The people who are yelling about it on our Discord know about the rock. We mentioned it on that was Lucky's intro joke last week.
Yeah, it was.
But okay, USA.
Okay, so we move on. This next one comes from the Tyrant King in Olympus waiting room with Godslayers. That sounds about right. Hey, Bunny Lucky and Tiger Omega. Oh, that's a Tiger and Bunny joke. With the LB2 Part 2 and Anime Japan stream on the horizon, which updates and guests are you looking forward to in the LB5 stream, and which collab are you hoping to get announced in the Anime Japan stream? Other than that, that's it for me this week. I send you good vibes towards you as you pull for Canis and or Dioscuri, references Tiger and Bunny. I actually got that one. I haven't fully watched Tiger and Bunny, but it was kind of a hilarious concept. You know, commercially sponsored superheroes. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched it.
Pepsi had one, and it was great. I think they actually aired. Commercials.
It's pretty good.
But which collab is kind of a hard question because there's a lot of characters I want.
Oh yeah, this is a good point. Did we actually answer the question about spooks? I don't know, but y'all know what mine was.
Oh man, no! Again, do you know how much money I have spent on this game?
A lot. Actually, I prefer Lucky if you don't do the math. I think it freaks out the audience.
Yeah. So I will not do them.
Concerned when they hear how much money it is.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Many. It's 1, 2, 3, many.
Probably in 5 digits now.
And as for me, you guys know what it is. It's still the one I did on a camera, the blowout. I got 3 fucking SSRs before I did not get the SR. It's ludicrous. I pray it never happens again. But the collab, from the current question, I think most of us are expecting the arcade thing, right? Arcade's on its final map. I think we're expecting them to do the thing. But if it is Extella, that would be cool.
Yeah, no, my big 3 right now, it has, if I can have 3, it'd be Extella, Arcade, or Mahoyoru.
Yeah.
And I have reasons for each, because with Arcade, I might get a new Nero and might get me a Tiamat. With Extella, I can get Charlie, Archimedes, and with Mahoyoru, that's the Alzaki sisters.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they could work with.
So, yeah.
And I don't know about the Anime Japan stream guests and stuff. I know that Wodame's VA is not showing up to the Chaldea Broadcasting because we have the list, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sometime. I don't know if he has been appeared on anything. I assume they would whenever they do Road to 7 for Olympus or Atlantis, they dial him up, right? Right. Get an extra step in there.
Whoops. So we shall move on. The next one comes from Pac-Man noises. Wah, 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 wah. So I'll ask the question I meant to post last week. Do you have any thoughts on the FGO server questions? And did you post any extra suggestions? I thought it was interesting that they asked how much you followed the JP server. But maybe they asked that on the last one too. And a question, Omega, you said you had a Motorola phone and was pretty happy with it. Do you have any complaints with it at all? I've been saying for a long time I need a new phone. I've been dating getting a Pixel, but maybe a Motorola would be better. I tried looking at online reviews in comparison, but it's mostly technobabble to me. Thanks, wishing you good luck on your upcoming roles.
Unfortunately, the technobabble is probably, much like PCs themselves, with actual mobile phones, honestly, most computing tech, Mostly it's in the technobabble. People will just try and convince you that their way is better. No, I have a... Oh, I don't remember what model number it is, but I have a Motorola Moto something.
Hello, Moto.
Yeah. And it's been pretty good. It had the RAM I needed and the storage size I needed to run FGO and maybe some other, mobile games occasionally, every once in a while for a little bit. And I don't really have any problems with like slowdown on graphics or anything that I used to have, because FGO gets some particle effects. It can get chuggy sometimes. And it works fine. It's an Android phone, so all the operating systems are the same. So it's mostly, like I said, just the little finicky details. Occasionally, I am, bamboozled by some of the ways controls work, but I think that's just inherent in how phones are. Like, accidentally, doing a weird gesture that turns my camera on or something. Or, missing which button does what for the screen capture command. But I think that's just how all smartphones work these days, As for the primary question, the survey, I'm pretty sure I just said that they should localize more stuff, please.
No, that's the one I usually win, and I guess I do believe that probably the most interesting was the asking about the Japanese server. I thought that was actually very interesting.
Yeah, we asked about that when the survey came out, and I believe that other people were like, no, I don't think they've had that question before, so, because I don't remember from previous surveys. So yeah, it does seem in general like Losangle is trying to be a little more aware of the global nature of the game. The fact that the internet exists, and people can just look up what happens in JP. And obviously, Albert and some of the localization guys at Aniplex have been aware of this, but I don't know how much that bled over to the actual, dev team, in JP. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I realized I never did that extra quest in Salem for the extra St. Courts, and there's a really dumb, chunky boss in it for some dumb reason that's kicked my ass twice. Why is there a giant rider enemy here? It's because Salem hates you. And I can't carry with a 3-turn farming team.
This is correct.
This is my training montage for Olympus. I'm gonna beat up this tiger fiend for kicks. I did arm pumping gestures like I'm pumping a weight. I don't know why. Why do I make gestures to the invisible camera?
It's your brain telling me you need to actually get a camera?
No, but then I'd have to be a lot better about shaving all the time. You guys don't want to look at my scruffy mug. I also desperately need a haircut. I just don't have time.
I have a mane for a head right now because I was going to try to do some weird hairstyle, but I have... What's the word I want to use? Unruly black hair? I think that's the best way I can put it. It doesn't want to listen to anything I have to say, but that's a talk for another time, I suppose. Who are you? Oh, you're a goblin. So, with that, you're a big goblin.
That's overtaken out of context later. Alternatively, there's a meme there. It's a big goblin for you.
So this next one comes from some random person. Oh, it's some random person. Hello, Lucky and Meg. I have a random question. This guy is doubling down on random. I have a random question for you this week. What's the highest amount of Saint coins you ever seen someone save up to? Someone I know saved up to 2,000 Saint coins for Odysseus. Anyways, I hope both of you good luck in your future rolls, and hope that your week has been good. I know some people have saved up big quartz for things. But I will have to say that I don't necessarily pay attention to those things. Mostly because I don't save, well, because the way how I deal with my summonings and whatnot. I don't save quartz. I save money. I usually set aside a budget. Usually for summer, my budget is, $1,000. And that's as much as I'm willing to spend because my credit card has a credit limit of, over $10,000, me being at, 5,000. I'm like, I can spend 1,000 and be okay. I'm okay with this. So, skeletons! So, I'm sorry, I'm being put into the bone zone here, so I got slightly distracted. So, if someone wants to take, $1,000 and, feed it into, the quartz calculator, that would be, my number of quartz saved, technically. But because I do it that way, a lot of people I know don't, consider, saving their quartz that way. They usually use the actual quartz number. And because that's not my way, I usually don't pay attention to it. Also because a lot of times people will do this and then they'll get their servant in one roll and be like, oh man, I saved all those quartz for nothing. And I'm just like, motherfucker, don't be throwing rocks at me, you little fucking shit.
Catch those rocks, throw them back. Yeah, we have a couple of people on the server who've done big saves, and obviously I like to stockpile a little bit more, though since we do make slightly more money having been doing this for a few years, I do have a little bit of a budget to spend as well. Every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are, like I said, I know there are a few people in the server who have done the thing. There we go.
Oh yeah, well, Tanks was a big one.
Yeah.
Tank was ready for Melt.
Yeah, that's Tank is the artist behind Daily Melt. He had a lot saved up for when Summer Melt actually hit the global server. The exact number is 2,384. And I still think he had to spend a decent chunk of it.
Oh yeah, because he had your problem of getting a stupid amount of Ruler Artorias, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, admittedly, I believe that number was 4 NP5.
Yeah.
Like, it was to go all the way right away. But yeah, it's a big number. There you go. That's the biggest I've seen. It's bigger than your number.
Big.
Apparently, we care about how big the numbers are, so. Yeah.
Oh, what? I can teleport as a sage? What the fuck? That's awesome. So...
Tank doesn't do anything by halves.
I mean, I've seen their not safe for work account. They do not.
I follow a non-zero number of Tank art accounts. Which is saying something because he's had to, remake a few, so... But anyway, just let us keep rolling on.
We roll on. This next one comes from Suspiciously Sleepy Suna, who says, "Hey there, Lucky Mega, no question, only good vibes. Wah. Have an awesome and chill weekend. I will try to. I am really thinking about a burrito right now, though. I did not get one before. I did not do my usual thing of ordering Chipotle because I'm kind of weird thing is, I don't know why. Maybe this is just me, but after eating Chipotle every week, every Friday at the same time, I'm a little sick of it right now. I'm just
Yeah, it happens. I know some people I'm a big, Golden Arches stan. I love the chicken and stuff, but that's because I've said this before. I was not in a huge fast food family, so on my birthday, McDonald's is like a treat. For my most recent one, we went out to McDonald's and saw Spider-Man, and I was like, yeah, I haven't been to McDonald's in 2 years because of the Backstreet Boys. So
that reminds me,
that's if you don't have it very often, you're like, oh man, this is good. If I ate McDonald's all the time, like the Super Size Me guy, I would probably be sick of it eventually, or parts of it anyway. I don't know. I eat a lot of the same stuff, but I still like to switch it up and rotate every once in a while.
Because no, man. I still ordered Mexican food the other day. I was like, oh man, Mexican food is great. I'm like, no, not Chipotle though.
Probably just getting too used to the flavor. Chipotle is a chain, so they probably have to try and do similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yes, Axe brought up a point. People have done the same study from Super Size Me and haven't been able to replicate his exact results. So now it would be hard because I do believe in response to that, McDonald's did actually change some of their formulation of things. So
probably.
Who the flunk knows? But this is not FGO related.
This is not. And so we'll move on to something that is. This next one comes from Canis and 10 tickets is a realistic possibility, right, guys? I mean, yes, I know people are going to roll 2 Canises in 1 ticket because that's how it fucking works somehow. Assholes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's actually a statistical possibility, guys. Remember, you get an extra roll.
Well, they'd have to spend 11 tickets first.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing: it's
resets between banners.
Oh, okay.
So you only get for tickets and singles, you only get the 11th on the extra banner. So
not sure, but I guess it still could be that you could technically get 2 Canises 1 ticket. I guess. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm thinking about things and I'm punching bats because they fucking annoy me.
Yes, bats suck.
Bats suck. But they say, "Hello there, Giant Gun Wilder Lucky and Drift Master Omega. Hope you both have had a great week. I actually was sick to my stomach for 2 of those days, so no, it was not great. I myself have been mostly saving tickets for Canis and SQ for Maori Run to get her MP5 ever since New Year's, which has been quite the struggle, but I'm holding on. Keep on holding on. Hang on 1 second here. Sorry. Question, with the
killing chaos.
I am killing chaos. Question, with the possibility of an arcade collab higher than ever, I'm curious how you want such a collab to go. What would be the main gimmick, and who would be the welfare, and the rate up 4 and 5 stars? Do you think 2 banners is a possibility for the collab, or they'll save something for the rerun? Just want to hear your thoughts and expectations for it. Anyway, have a great rest of the week, and prepare. It's time to shot down some more gods. Bye-bye. Axe, the smoke scent will not go away. Smoke actually will, soak into fabric and whatnot. Once I salvaged the mattress from a burnt down house, that smoke smell lasts for like 2 years. Smoke travels, Axe.
Yeah. Get an air purifier. I mean, if you've got some smelly stuff, get some stuff that absorbs odors, like activated charcoal, baking soda, coffee grinds.
Coffee grinds, really?
Yeah, apparently that actually, like, at least according to the internet, and I think I've heard that before. I mean, if you've opened a window, you won't die in your sleep. So long as you're not actively pouring CO2 into the room still, you'll be all right. You're probably not going to choke on it or anything.
I mean, if you have a window open, you could pour all the CO2 in the room you want. You probably still wouldn't die. Yeah,
I mean, different density.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if you can still smell smoke, it's just annoying. You'll be okay.
You'll live.
I mean, like, worst comes to worst, if it's in like a hard surface, you can use like ammonia or bleach, but make sure you ventilate there. Don't just go dumping bleach on everything, okay?
Ventilate.
If you've got carpets, you'd have to like deep clean them with steam. You might not want to. That might be beyond your current ability as a college student, but consider it. Well, so long as you're not doing drugs, that are illegal or anything in your local vicinity, you can hopefully call the campus and be like, "Yo, dog, my apartment smells like smoke. Can you fix this?" Hypothetically, that should be a service they offer. They probably charge you a lot of money to live in the dorm. So, anyway, we hope you've enjoyed this smoke cleaning diversion.
That's what we do. We tangent.
So, the structure of the hypothetical arcade collab.
I would go for 2 banners because I would like to have whatever Beast Nero they're coming out with on one banner and Tiamat on another.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, they usually save stuff, but there's quite a few collab servants.
I think another big one would probably be Prototype Merlin. Probably. Do you think Prototype Merlin would be an interesting 4-star welfare?
Could be. I mean, like, she has a couple of different variations in the obviously and the actual servant form because of Ascension, but could probably work as a 4-star. We discussed this before when Proto Merlin first. Sorry, excuse me. Repeat. Hit arcade, right? That like that. Her skill set was a little bit unique and didn't translate 1-to-1 to FGO anyway because it was mostly focused around the arcade mechanics.
Yeah.
So I think they've got some wiggle room in skill set. You could do kind of like a baby Merlin welfare. That might be interesting.
It might be interesting. I said I won't say there's no absolute precedence for it because remember, Da Vinci Small originally was a welfare in arcade and was upgraded to an anniversary SSR for us. Yes. So doing the reverse, I don't think would be necessarily out of bounds.
No. The other big welfare I know that arcade has had, other than the Santas, which I don't think we're going to see.
Probably not. No.
Just because it wouldn't make any sense to do it in like April. They could do costumes. They're not averse to doing a shitload of costumes for collabs, right? Right. But Satanta was the other big one.
Mm-hmm.
Little coup. I don't know if that would show up, but it could be. I feel like Proto Merlin's probably a good keystone because I assume that plot-wise, she has a similar significance to regular Merlin. Tiamat's obviously a big deal, and so that's obviously a key one. Though again, they could go the welfare route with that. I would prefer the fully fledged bit, but also I will never say no to a more alter ego welfares. Her skill set, I believe, is also something they would probably need to like shake out a little bit.
Honestly, they could probably
as an actual banner 4-star, definitely Sita.
Honestly, I think they could probably make Satana and Sita the 4-stars paired with Tiamat and Nero with Proto Merlin as the welfare. I think that's my preferred spread.
And I think they will probably skip Jacques because we just got Girl Jacques, the alternate timeline one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that would make as much sense because like I believe the way it worked was the banner was Proto Merlin and Sita for America in arcade, and that was the idea was like Sita instead of Rama, and then Proto Merlin showed up in the story instead of regular Merlin, but it's not quite the same in terms of banners, right? Like the big scary guy they've released to correlate their conclusion of the Part 1 event is actually Gramps. Gramps is in arcade now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He either just came out or was just announced. No, it would be a big one. They got a decent density of servants. I don't know if they do it all at once. They could do 2 banners on a collab. They've done weirder shit. I'm actually kind of surprised some of the recent events we've had haven't had 2 banners because they have servants where questions are still answered. Yeah, CCC did it, so there's precedent, I guess. Hell, CCC even's got, like, weird stuff. I don't... I don't know if Noah was playable. I think that was just a character sprite. That might also not work. Noah just showed up to be Grand Boat and then left. My job here is done.
Goodbye.
But yeah, they've got a wide variety. Give us their Noah as revenge. Hey, listen, remember, when you set out on the path of the revenge, you must dig 2 graves.
Is it like feeding 2 wolves?
No, it's 2 graves because they die and also you die.
Oh.
Everybody dies.
Everyone dies. Everyone's dead, Dave.
Everybody's dead, Dave. But the Klingons say that revenge is a dish best served cold.
I hope it's summer then.
Alrighty. I mean, for me, April would probably be like, it'll be 80 degrees every day.
I mean, when is it not 80 degrees for you, though?
You know what? It's like 40.
For like a day?
Yeah, that was like last weekend was frostboarding again, and now it's fucking hot. I don't claim to understand how it works. According to the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Solo Gate release, the weather is due to magical fairies who paint the weather. So I guess they're fucking up right now.
Sounds fun to me.
Anyway, I think we did this one to the best of our ability. The problem with the arcade collab hypothetical is there's a lot of servants, like we said. Narrowing it down is hard. I would hope it's a big deal, like the CCC collab, and we can get 2 banners.
2 banner. I think we're good.
Like, what I would say was definitely 100% lead off with Tiamat and probably Sita and maybe Satanta, if that works, you know?
Mm.
Lead off that way, and then much like with Kiara, you know, as the surprise end of CCC on a second banner, do that with Mother Harlot, True Draco, whatever the hell her name actually is. The problem with the prototype collab is there's nobody left. Well, I guess there's the mainline prototype of like Proto Gil. I think it's supposed to be 4-star. I don't remember. There's like 2 Perseuses, but one of them's not the prototype Perseus. It's the Hollow Ataraxia Perseus. Don't ask me how that's gonna work. But like the actual like prototype story that actually we have details on, there's nobody left. We've done all the Fragments characters, and the actual structure of prototype isn't done. There was like a 10-minute OVA, I think, and that's it.
People
like
can't
we have
let it
character
go, though.
design notes, but I don't know what the plot of that would be anyway. So if you're gonna do it as like against Beast 6, you know, with like Punch Nero, then you might as well just make it the arcade collab and then probably have like Proto Arthur show up in the story or something. I mean, isn't Evil Gil literally just a costume for Caskel?
Yes.
We're getting bogged down in the arcade nonsense.
That's what people have thoughts, and they want them. They want them. Yeah. We shall move on, though.
I suspect the version of Herc that was in Prototype was probably still Herc. The man was all muscle.
So this next one comes from a hungover king. They say, "Greetings to you, the gods above, Lucky and Omega. So I was sharing a few drinks with my friend last night. You say you're hungover. Were you sure it was only a few? And we got onto a rather interesting topic discussion. So what do you guys think of a servant whose spirit origin is basically the combination of all of Apollo's space missions and the god, ellipses, Apollo himself? Thanks, guys, and take it easy. So you want Space Sheep.
But we already have that servant. It already happened. So stacking spirit origins is weird. It doesn't happen a lot. I know it usually does its configurations of the same thing. There's a lot of Apollo missions, and several of them are notable, right?
Right.
Like, everybody remembers 13 because, 13 unlucky.
Oh,
but then there was also the Apollo moon landing, and then there were still several more. Did we get up to, like, Apollo 16 or 18?
I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Somewhere around there. Not quite to 20, I don't believe, but we got pretty high in the teens. We went to the moon quite a few times, and went near the moon several other times.
Moon!
So, like, I think there's stuff there, but probably a much easier idea would just be to do Neil Armstrong, since he's supposed to be a servant.
Ooh.
There might be some legal stuff there with, like, people's likenesses, but you could work around it a little, I guess. Like, there was a nameless, faceless moon man in the extra animate, last Encore, and then also in extra, there was dialogue about fighting a moon man servant, an astronaut who is important on the moon. So, and as we can say, many people are not happy with how Edison has just been shunted to oops, all presidents. Yeah, it's supposed to be Neil.
Good old Neil.
I mean, I think though if Voyager counts, then we've got several Mars rovers: Pathfinder, Sojourner, Curiosity. Y'all remember how big a meme Curiosity was?
I remember.
There's also some Mercury spacecraft, Cassini space probes, Galileo space probes to Jupiter. Actually, where the fuck is Galileo Galilei anyway? His Nova Phantasm is a telescope. It's a reverse telescope that shoots Jupiter thunder beams at you. There are also several Voyagers. NASA likes to do things in sequence.
Actually, which one went first, Voyager or Pioneer? I can never remember.
I think the Pioneer probes were to Mars, so those were probably first, but the Voyager program was... I'll be like Space Interlude. Voyager 1 and 2 were both launched in 1977 due to favorable orbital positioning. The Pioneer program... Oh, okay, the first Pioneer space probes were lunar and was 1958 to 1960. The other ones were 65 to 1992. So technically Pioneer is older. Pioneer 0, lunar orbiter. Failure after launch. Pioneer 1, lunar orbiter, missed the moon due to stage failure.
Whoops.
Pioneer 2 also had a third stage failure. Pioneer P1, launch vehicle lost. P3 worked, I think, and so did P5. P30 failed to change. Yeah, no, it's just... Listen, there's a lot of these. It's actually very easy. You have to remember, the moon is big. You know what's bigger? Space. Everything not the moon. If you take a picture of the sky and you compare moon to all non-moon things, there's a lot more not moon than moon.
Again, and there's a lot of calculations that actually go into moon landings and whatnot. There's vectors, thrust, angle, approach.
Yeah, and when I say miss the moon, I should clarify, most of those appear to be due to partial or complete failures of the rocketry stages, because this was the late 50s, so it was still experimental. But yeah, if your rockets don't fire correctly, yes, you miss the moon, because you have to do, like, advanced math, literal rocket science to figure out how you can, you know, take your object and put it on the moon, because the moon is moving, the Earth is moving, the sun is moving, everything is moving. Very, very fast, in case you didn't know. The Earth is flying through space, or is that rotational? Okay. So, the Earth rotates at roughly 1,000 miles an hour, and the Earth is flying through space at roughly 66,627 miles per hour. That was almost a very scary number.
Jesus.
Yeah, so, that's how fast we're moving at any given time. You are hurtling through space at Satan speeds. Constantly. So yes, that's how you could miss the moon. Anyway, enough about space. It's an interesting concept, but I don't think they would go for that because they can do other things.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to move swiftly on.
Yeah,
well, maybe not swiftly on. We still got, but we do have a few left still. And this next one comes from a masked man marketing mysterious merchandise. Dear Ethereal is Lucky and Aeronaut Omega. I know who this person is. No question this week. I just wanted to leave a response since you seem to be worried about fan interaction dwindling a couple shows ago and to throw you off your expectations on the one-day notice. I know I don't comment often, but I appreciate your hard work and enjoy listening to the show in the background while I'm cooking, sending y'all good vibes, and wishing you good luck surmounting Olympus. Well, thank you very much. I guess people are just fucking contrary, much like Gwendolyn.
It happens. But no, hey, we appreciate the comments. You know, you don't have to comment every time, but when we ask for commentation, we appreciate getting it. I think I asked for lots of commentation last week, and we didn't get it, so
oof.
We're jonesing again. That's okay. You guys are gonna... We're at about an hour and a half of raw recording, and we still got like two to go. Not counting finishing this discussion. And then probably like an intermission, and then pregame. So God knows how long that's gonna take. But that should hopefully be dense enough that y'all, you know, are jazzed about whatever is happening there. But yeah, so we appreciate a little bit of the feedbacks.
We do's.
Alrighty.
Feeds. So we shall move on. And this next one comes from Hassan of Too Many Line Breaks. Bonjour, late to post mailbag. I was not late. I was exactly on time.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He mailbags precisely when he means to.
I did.
I don't like this question, actually. This is a sassy question. but doesn't have that many line breaks, actually.
Yeah, this is a bit sassy. Also, again, I hate Fox politeness. I really do. Don't say something cheeky and being like, oh, sorry for being cheeky. Then don't say it in the fucking first place. On count of Fox politeness, this is getting yeeted. That's one of the actual few things I actually do despise. If you want to say something mean, say it, and don't, try and make it better by saying just more things.
The tongue is in the cheek.
And, you don't have to make everyday conversation a fucking political intrigue. So we move on to the last one.
Yeet.
This last one comes from Arteria Stan, who will temporarily stop being petty and get Enkidu ready for a spoiler fight in Olympus. Greetings, pilot of the Shinkiro Omega and pilot of the Lancelot Albion Lucky. Do they have a reference for this? Ah, yes.
I know what that was.
I wasn't sure. Hope you're both doing well. I'm sending you the good vibes. Question. Is Huan McCool really that unpopular? No, he's McCool, my dude. Radical. I just find it odd that the Irish King Arthur is not on the bonus list for the Apocrypha Inheritance of Glory event. I know he did participate in the 3rd Holy Grail War. I'm not sure if this question has been asked before. Have a great rest of your weekend. Reference, Code Geass. So, short story, while we do know that Theon was a servant, he was not the servant in the actual Holy Grail War that Apocrypha has named. He was in the 3rd Holy Grail War, not the... Actually, what is this what is this Grail War even called?
Great Holy Grail War.
God damn it. No,
so I say hi senso.
God damn it. So, no, it makes total sense that, Irish King Arthur did not make sense, because he wasn't actually in the Great Holy Grail Great War.
Yeah, the servants you see who you don't recognize from the light novel or anime, they were in the MMO version of Apocrypha before it became a light novel. So that's like a deep cut with lore. Finn is technically like an extra, what would you call it, reference?
Mm-hmm.
In the anime. Like, they needed a servant for the flashbacks to Nazi Dardic blimps and, blowing up Amakusa's church. So they put in Finn, which is neat, A lot of people went, oh, he's that guy. But it's not directly related. As for, is he that unpopular? He seems like a cool guy.
Theon!
I think FGO has not been kind to Theon by virtue of not only did he have a rough start like a lot of servants, because he was an antagonist in America, but also they just can't not put him on rank ups with limited SSR Lancer ladies who people want way more, right?
Right.
Also, let's be real, he was a bad servant. His kit was not very good when he was launched. They have improved it. He's been through 2 strengthenings. I think he's pretty okay now, especially as Arts is gonna, go through a revolution later this year for us.
Revolution.
So, a repetition, if you will. A loop. Okay. If we did sound effects, there would be a bang as I was shot or something. But when he first came out, he was not good, and also he was hogging up Gold Lancer, animations on the Bryn banner. Bryn, who was super well anticipated and limited, and was known to be limited in NA because it knew that she wouldn't get another raid up for 2 goddamn years, right? So he felt like a little bit of a dead weight on banners, and so people were just like, oh man, I got this asshole. He's trying to marry my Kohai. As time goes on and we go through further events, I think people get over it more and more, but it's a little bit of a rough launch. But he's cool. If you want to know about how cool, check out OSP's video on it, because we already made you drink once.
Make you drink water, down it like water.
He has 2 mommies.
It's pretty sick.
Because his dad is dead. And it's okay. He does a prophecy thing and he gets that guy back.
Prophecy just don't care.
Yeah. Also, the Irish King Arthur thing is interesting. Finn is one of the Kings Under the Mountain type guys. He's supposed to be under a rock somewhere, but there's a lot of those, so it's interesting. That probably means that there's a prototypical King Under the Mountain thing, because all of those myths are interrelated, but I'm not here to do that mythological typography.
That's not. Because what Omega is here to do is to talk for a very, very long time, because we are done with mailbag.
Yeah, and we've firmly crossed that hour 30 mark. So we're going to take a quick break over here, because I'm going to have to talk for a long time. So I'm going to get up and stretch my legs before we get started. So, intermission. And resume the game. Yeah, sorry. I, got up, got some water, stretched my legs, opened my window to let what little airflow there is in. Because we're going to be here for a little bit, because it is now time for Chaldea Free Talk, which means it is time for the Olympus Pre-game.
Dun dun dun.
As you have probably heard over the past several years, Olympus is an infamous story part for its difficulty. People have found it quite hard to do, and arguably this is kind of probably why the upcoming Spirit Vein Stone system is implemented, where you get extra story revives. Because this is rough, and people have spent some Saint Courts beating it. So, this time with this pregame, I'm going to do my best to bring you the actual in-depths of a lot of these boss battles and stuff. Again, without spoiling too much, but like I said, before we begin, I want to double down on the spoiler warning. I don't give a lot of context here, but longtime FGO players, you will probably do some math on some boss classes and effects that they do, and figure some stuff out. You know, again, if you don't go head empty, no thought, you might figure it out. And also, if you remember Atlantis, you'll remember what gods are still on the enemy side, so this may spoil what order we're going to punch them in. But unfortunately, without describing some of the buffs they do in their classes, I cannot describe the difficulty to you. So, if you want to go in completely story blind, skip ahead. Again, we're not going to discuss beats, and boy, howdy, there are a lot of beats.
Skip gang.
But we're gonna work through some stuff. So it's time for the big one. Lost Build 5, Part 2, Interstellar Mountainous City, Olympus. And I'm gonna tell you, much like this segment, this is a long one. We have 27 numbered chapters and an intermission in the middle. So, yeah, this is long. And it's going to be chunky. Yeah, you're gonna have some long episodes when we talk about it, just because this is going to be dense. Completing the main story will reward you with 26 Saint Courts and a Holy Grail, plus a new CE. I will not reveal anything about the CE yet. And will also unlock Canis for the story summon. There will also be a variety of mats you'll get from this. We'll talk about some of those later. Now, I will say, a decent number of these are no battle nodes, but it's still a lot. So, if you are unprepared for the density of FGO, get ready to hold on, because it'll be a while. Now, there's no rush for people who aren't me and Lucky. Obviously, you know, we do time codes and stuff. Well, I guess there's a rush for Robyn, too, so he could listen to do time codes. But anyway, if you're not those three people, there's no rush. You can wait. I know some people are planning on waiting until this upcoming anniversary, because Annie 5 does a lot of really OP strengthenings and also releases Castoria, so you've got a lot of options there. Some people will wait until December when the Spirit Vein Stones are added, so you get extra continues. If nothing else, you know, you can wait out 3 days to get your command seals back. So you don't have to tackle this like a lunatic madman who's been starved of food for, you know, a month. But me, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to eat it up. I'm going to try not to spend too many Saint Courts because I need those, but, you know, I may be preemptively broke before we even begin. Now, I will throw this out there. There are also 11 free quests unlocked by completing this, so this does mean that this story released will net you a total of 37 Saint Courts if you do all of it. That's quite beefy. Been a little bit since we had such a chunky release. I think even Atlantis only hit, like, barely 30, I think, with free quests. So this does give you some extras. Now, a couple of general rules. Just some general notices about these nodes. If you've played Atlantis, you can probably guess some of these things you're about to hear, but expect a lot of enemies to have some form of the Kleronomia buffs, the legacy buffs, to give them a little bit extra juice. There are some just Theoi ones for like extra damage. There's also another common one that is just heal 1k HP per turn. So, look out for those. Now, also, some of you may find this unpleasant, but this is part of the system. You're going to have to put MASH in the front row a lot in this chapter. Like, a lot. Like most of the boss fights, you have to put MASH in there. Right up front. Now, she does get her gun in this chapter. In Chapter 7 specifically, so perhaps that'll help. She also gets a lot of story buffs, but we'll get there when we get there. Because also, while I will try and call out the specific mechanics as best I can, there are a lot of special story buffs for your team, some of which just happen in mob battles. So, while this chapter is hard, you do get some extra tools, but I will apologize if I do not hit literally every buff you're going to get in there. Okay? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. You saw some of this with Atlantis, but you're going to see more of it in Olympus because it's the same goddamn story, basically. So, before we get into the enemies, let me start off with my usual listing of talking about some characters who are going to show up, some of the tools you'll be working with. So, for story support, which, by the way, you are often forced to pick, you can expect to see a lot of Miyamoto Musashi with a special buff. She told you she would meet us up. You will also get access to Sherlock Holmes. He's gonna flex his burrito a little bit. You can expect Caligula and a special appearance from Romulus Quirinus. Also, I really can't hide it because she's in it a lot, and there's a lot of story support, and also it's forced sometimes. You're gonna see a lot of story support from Canis, actually.
Is this the pin?
Yeah, this was the pin. Remember I put that pin back in there? Like I don't know how long it'll be in the final edit, but like half an hour ago? This is the pin. You gotta spend a lot of time with Canis. She's gonna be in a lot of your fights. Canis also has a story buff, which will actually strip some of the NPCs' Cleronomia buffs. So, kind of important. And this is why I'm just like, I just can't hide it. I gotta tell you. It's gonna happen. Now, do you remember also, by the way, story supports? They get access to special CEs, so they start with, starting NP and stuff. It's cool.
Very nice.
So, before we get onto the bosses, that'll be my deep breath, let's talk a little bit about mobs. There's only a couple of new mobs in this, obviously. There's a few returning from the previous one. So, basically, a buff from those previous Border Patrol boys. You now have Olympus soldiers. They are Gold Lancers. They have a, I believe, single target NP that can pierce invul, so watch out for that. They also drop the new Fruit Mat, so the Fruit of Immortality, whatever the hell they call it. It's a pomegranate. But they drop that. You'll need that.
Ambrosia!
So beat those guys up. And also, in addition to the wide area ordnance returning, we also now have special anti-personnel devices, which are an automata-type assassin enemy who can drop what I'm calling divine particles. They're called, like, spirit vein, or spherical veins, or divine sphericals, or something weird. I hope they translate this clear. They're like...
Divine sphere.
They're the blue orby things, and they're spheres. So, divine spheres, or divine particles. They're supposed to be, like, generated from divine being spiritrons or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Orbs. They drop blue orbs. But other than that, they're just automata-type enemies, and they look kind of like the same as the white area orients. Also, expect to meet, once again, a lot of Origin, Chimeras, Hydras, and Lamias. They're returning. All of them. Yes, even the Hydras. And also, there is a fairly beefy Lancer hand in a battle, for some reason. I hope it'll make sense in the story. But yeah, there's the hand with 180 HP. I don't know what he's doing. Being swole, I guess. But yeah, honestly, I was kind of surprised. There's not a lot of mob variety in this. It's mostly the Origin enemies, the new Olympus soldiers, and then we have a new doll type. And also the wide area ordnance with their fucking buff block, so that's going to be annoying as hell. But, a lot of Lancers. A lot of Lancers for some reason. It's almost like you get to use Musashi a lot, so use sabers.
What?
Okay, deep breath, it's the bosses.
Oh no.
So I will try and format this in the break bars, because a lot of them have break bars, with the numbers in the hundreds of thousands with some rounding, so it'll be something like, one of my examples is like 230, 270, 320. That's all in hundreds of thousands of HP numbers, okay? So we'll try and simplify this, and I'll go over it as best I can, but there's a lot of these. I mentioned this before, and I will mention it again, but, we're just gonna hit the ground running. Your first boss fight is in Chapter 3 of 27. They give you a little bit of time to get acclimated and find some friends, and then it's boss fights. So, Chapter 3 features your first boss fight. It's a running boss fight of several encounters with a Berserker AoE with a lot of HP, and a free 50k guts. I expect to see that one a lot, by the way. That's also another weird thing we do, where we just give enemies huge guts so they basically get an extra HP bar. So the first arrow you want to fight this one is a slugging match with 800k HP. It's a lot, I know, but it's a Berserker. You can deal with this. The second one has break bars, and a new buff which reduces damage from attacks, but this buff goes away after 3 turns if Musashi, who is your forced support, lives. So, put support Musashi in your front row and have her live for 3 turns, and you can do the thing.
Interesting.
And then in the third pip, this boss is combined with the first of many fights with Dioscuri. Yes, the twins are going to be a recurring boss battle, and I mean, you've already had to meet them, so I'm not going to hide that they exist. You knew you'd have to fight them. So during this third fight, you are debuffed with attack and star gen down. Your starting NP is reduced by 20%. This also happens a lot. How dare. Dioscuri get a bonus effect to get damage cut, and all their card effectiveness is raised, and on their break bar, they get a crit rate effect up. The Berserker retains his healing effects. Oh, actually, I missed this. For these last 2 fights as well, the Berserker enemy has a break bar effect when you break its bar, because it's got this in the second fight. It inflicts burn both on its attacks and on hit for 3 turns. I believe it's a fairly mild amount. I don't think the wiki was specific. So, yeah, you just get started early. You got to deal with guys who are chunky and deal damage. And you have to deal with story buffs and debuffs. So, in Chapter 5, you must spar against Musashi with Sherlock. Musashi has a sure hit and crit up buff, which she has all the time. And then when you break her bar, she charges 2 NP ticks per turn. And you have to use MASH in the front row. So it's a sparring match. 200k/300k. So that's why I put this in here. This is a real-ass boss fight. Like, you got to take down all this HP on Musashi, and she's still got, like, her story buffs that she's got as a support as an enemy, and will also charge NP. So, like, watch the fuck out. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get punched. So we scooch ahead. Chapter 6, the next chapter, ends in a hopeless boss fight against an enemy with damage reduction that heals 200k HP per turn and lasts 4 turns. So, Jesus. Live, damn it. Oh, hey, Chapter 7, that boss is back. So, in the real version of this fight, this boss is a caster with, that was the example I took, by the way, with 230, 270, 320 HP. Canis is the forced story support and must be in the front row. This removes their damage reduction and healing effect that we talked about before, and slaps them with a defense down and heal down for 5 turns. So basically, counteract their previous invincibility, now you can actually fight them. This caster boss has an NP, which is AoE, which reduces your max HP by 5k forever until you pass. You can remove the debuff, but the debuff has no natural go-away time. So you get blasted with an AoE NP, and then you still lose 5k HP. So I hope you've got some Jeans. I'll have to make sure mine is on my support setup, because damn. Now, this boss also has a variety of things they can do. A lot of bosses have the full, 3 skill set as well. So they have a passive to do extra damage versus stars, i.e. the star attribute. And they have skills that can increase their defense for quite a bit. Basically, more, 1 turn of big defense up and then 3 turns of normal ups. They can clear their own debuffs and give themselves 1 for 1, so 1 turn, 1 time debuff immunity, and heal 50k, which is not chump change with those HP numbers. And then also can raise their attack for 1 time and give them 3 NP charges. So basically high-speed divine words, just big charge. Break bar number 1 removes all your buffs and gives you 3 times 3 turns of buff block. Cool. I love it.
Thanks.
And then break bar number 2 gives them a 150k HP guts and HP regen, but a chance to skill steal themselves. But also, once again, 150k HP guts. I think you can remove it, but still, like I said, this is a thing Olympus really loves to do, to give its bosses a huge guts, so they basically have, a hidden extra HP bar you have to chew through. So, damn, dude, you gotta pre-plan this a little bit. You're gonna have to worry about your max HP going down, you're gonna have, buff blocks.
I think I'm gonna pull out a fucking stall strat if I can.
Yeah. And, once again, this is a caster, so consider your writer bosses and their success rates. But yeah, stalling and grinding may be the right way to go if you can remove debuffs. So we get a few chapters off from this romp. You're just beating up mobs. It's cool. You're having some non-story modes. Chapter 11. An unknown type enemy. There was an aside glance at the camera. Appears. They have 160, 190, 210, and 230 HP. That's right. 4 HP bars. So this enemy takes double damage from demonic beast servants, which at this stage is just basically all the Tamamos, Gorgon, Lobo, Asterios, and Red Hair, and deals double damage to basically everybody else. All those other servants, double damage. So treat it like a Berserker boss fight.
It's time to do the Tama dance.
They also start with 3 turns of resistance to NP and criticals, and a separate buff for a 1-turn invul, a crit up for 3 turns, and then attack down on you for 3 turns. Just all the fucking buffs. NP is an AoE, because of course it is, that curses you for 3 turns. Curse up for 3 turns, sorry. Increases your curse damage. Skills are a stun chance and then an on-death trigger. If the boss kills you, they heal 50k HP and get an attack up. Rude.
It is quite rude.
Skill 2 is just curse for 10 turns. It's only 400 damage, but remember that NP has curse damage up, so you're gonna die. And then, third skill increases crit rate for 1 turn and gives them 5 hits, 2 turns of chance-based evasion. So, we could evade, maybe, 5 times for 2 turns. Okay. Yeah. Break bar 1, free NP. Just go to NP, do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Oh,
Also
money.
lowers your defense and your star gen for 3 turns.
Why?
Now, interestingly enough, though, break bar number 2, however, reduces the boss's NP charge by 1 and gives them defense down for 3 turns and gives your party attack up, 20% NP gauge, 2k heal, and a debuff cleanse. So kind of like oscillating back and forth, right?
Right.
And thus the final HP bar is kind of another oscillation back, gives them attack and damage up for 3 turns, recovers 1 NP pip, gives them 5k heal per turn for 5 turns, and a 150k guts, which is basically a whole ass 5th HP bar. Now remember, all Tamamos get bonus damage against this boss, so you can't just Tamamo stall strat this, probably. But goddamn, yeah, no, it's rude. There's a lot of shit here. There's fucking dot, there's, attack downs, there's stuns, the boss gets to heal a shitload. So many HP bars. And then in Chapter 12, there's another boss fight.
Oh, we are not stopping.
You must fight Musashi and Sherlock. You must use MASH and story support Caligula. Yes, not only is Caligula a story support servant, he's a forced one at times. That is 160 and 190 and 100 and 130 HP respectively for Musashi and then Sherlock. Both of them have Buster Plus and lose HP per turn, so they kind of have a degrading effect going on. They have resistance against mental debuffs plus mental debuff success up, but have a demerit there where they might skill steal themselves. Breaking Musashi's first HP bar gives her Buster up, but attack down on self for 5 turns, and also she stuns herself. And then bar 1 and Sherlock gives him an arts up, but attack down. Now there is a story debuff that will smack you at the start of this with defense down and HP, but HP per turn heal, but also a permanent defensive buff nullification. You cannot use defensive buffs in this fight. I assume if that's properly defensive buffs, that includes evades and invuls. Hard and soft defenses are just out. What were you saying?
I feel slightly bothered by this.
Yeah, no, this is a little rude. Basically, the way I think the idea is this is not an endurance battle. This is a speed battle. The enemies are, your opponents are losing HP every turn. And if you, they have demerits when they break their bars. So, and you have an HP recovery, but you got to get in there. But MASH finally gets a story buff. All of her card effectiveness is increased. Her defense is increased. She gets a free guts for 1 time. You don't even need necromancy anymore. They know the memes. And she also slaps herself with a free 1-turn taunt and invul, which I believe gets around the defensive buff nullification. So MASH will just eat the first turn. But it doesn't stop there. Chapter 13.
Oh, God.
There is an assassin.
Hey.
The assassin has 220, 270, 360 HP. They give you a defense down, but if you use story support Caligula, he removes it. So use story support Caligula. Their NP is an AoE, which reduces your mental debuff resistance and has a chance to instantly kill you. I love this.
Why?
I don't know, assassins or some shit. The chat is just going, stop, he's already dead. No, we do not stop. Once again, I would like to remind you, these are all in a row, by the way. 11, 12, 13. You have to deal with this shit all back to back. Skill number 1. Inflicts charm, attack down, defense down, critical down, debuff resistance down, and minus 100% NP charge on somebody. Fuck you. Fuck that person in particular. Skill 2 is a team-wide debuff resistance down and a delayed chance to inflict skill seal for 3 turns for everybody. Skill 3 gives you chance to stun, delayed, so like terror, but it's not called terror. And possibly a unique debuff I have ever seen. Debuff removal success rate down to everybody.
Debuff removal success rate.
Yes, that's right. They gave you a debuff that makes it less likely you could cleanse your debuffs. Fucking hacks.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, this is bullshit. This is a debuff enemy who gets smart. Now remember, these are all skills, so these are randomized. Hypothetically, the boss may never do this, but I suspect the boss will do this. Probably when you least want them to.
As they do.
Also, they passively deal extra damage versus stars. So, breaking bar 1 slaps your whole front row with skill and NP seal for 1 turn. This is a recurring theme. I hope you didn't want to NP back to back. Bar 2 gives the boss attack and crit chance up, but lowers their defense for 5 turns. You also have a story buff, which will give you attack up, NP charge, healing, and remove all debuffs. I believe this is randomized. So you have a chance that a ally skill will proc and it will remove your debuffs, or it only happens at a limited time. there's so many special effects, sometimes the wikis are a little unclear on what happens when, but there will be a story buff which will hopefully give you some help to counteract this, but there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of horse shit in this. Now, we get to take a little break. There's no bosses until Chapter 17. But the Dioscuri are back. You have to fight them several times. First battle, they have 210 and 270 HP, and they are accompanied by a Hydra, because of course they are, the little shits.
Why not?
They have the same card plus and damage cut buff as before, and also when you break their bar, they have a critical chance up for 3 turns, and if they inflict a critical on you, their critical damage is increased, and they charge a bar. However, when you start the battle, you get 2 hits of invul for free and 10% NP for 3 turns at the start.
They really are giving you a fuck ton of story buffs.
Oh yeah, I didn't even say the next one. Randomly, you'll get a story buff to either reduce enemy HP and attack, or heal the party and remove 1 debuff. Huh. These are randomized. So yeah, you have story support. Basically, story mystic codes are going to be fired. Now, the second half of this battle is just Dioscuri. They have 270, 340, 430. They retain their original special buff and their break bar effect twice, because remember, it's for 3 turns each time. But they also start with stun immunity. Yeah, that's right. This is the one. You remember Surtur, how Surtur was Urale proof? There are a couple of bosses in this which are Gundar proof. Delightworks saw what move you were going to do and were like, nah, fuck you.
Clearly, this is Delightworks saying we always have bigger rocks.
Yes. They also have crit up and crit chance up for 2 hits when they start right away as well. Now, Mash is mandatory in this, however, but she gets her card bonuses, her defense bonus, her guts, and also reduces damage from all sources. Tenki Kohai. So, yeah, they're going, like I said, they're going hams on those Mash buffs. They are really trying to make this not suck. Now, we take another short break until Chapter 20, which has 2 bosses in it. The first boss is Alter Ego of Limbo, that bitch. He is an alter ego, and he has 355,000 HP. He also comes with a Cerberus Berserker that has 215 HP. He's also a cocksucker, and he'll slap you with 50% NP drain when the battle starts. And he forces a taunt on one of your team members, which gives them defense down when hit, debuff on somebody, which you can't remove, and if that servant dies, he does it again. What a fucker. Look at this guy. What an asshole.
Why is he so popular?
I don't know, he's hot or something. We'll find out later this year. And then, to finish this chapter, there's a second boss fight. Hey, remember that Berserker guy? He comes back. That Berserker boss, he's back, plus a Rider. So the Berserker has 220, 270 HP, and the Rider has 160, 200 HP. The Berserker has the same burn stuff on his break bar, he has the HP regen and the guts, plus he can also raise his attack and critical for a few turns at the cost of lowering his defense. The Rider boss here is passively immune to charm, and on break 1 will give either enemy, so either the Rider boss itself or the Berserker boss, a taunt and a defense up for 5 turns, but when you defeat the Berserker enemy, their NP will be sealed permanently. So there's a strategy to this one. Also, you have the same story buffs as the Dioscuri battle, that, randomly HP reduction and attack up, or healing the party or removing 1 debuff. So you got some back and forth here. And then we get to Chapter 21, which is the Big Chungus. This is one boss fight that has 5 goddamn sub-points.
Jesus.
There's a lot of sub-notes in this. So the first time you fight this guy, the Big Chungus, the ruler boss, this boss has a permanent invincible and is just undefeatable, so you gotta last 4 turns. Then there's a story pip, and then there's the actual battle, which is the real fight. It is a doozy. So you are forced to take Romulus Quirinus as support, and you must use Mash with her story buffs in the front row. Now, thankfully, Romulus Quirinus will be a bro, and he'll negate class disadvantage against rulers. Offensively, that is. So you can actually do damage. Thank God. So this boss is weird. I guess the best way I'll describe it is there's the main boss, and then the boss has 2 subparts. I will codename them O and G. These parts are like ads, except they're not. You will not hit them with AoE attacks. AoE attacks are basically single target. And so the subparts have between 50k and 60k HP themselves. The boss itself keeps its own HP pool, which is 180, 190, 210. So not huge, but it's still pretty rad. Gotta go through some stuff. Now, as long as the subparts are alive, the boss has special resistance to damages, so you gotta watch out for those. You gotta kill the subparts before you can kill the main boss. It's like a fucking Gradius thing. And also, this boss is immune to charm and all forms of dot. Curse, burn, poison. Don't work. Just don't do nothing. Don't even bother with that strat. Now, this boss will begin play with an unremovable ignore defense and attack up buff, and will also apply a sure hit, critical rate, and critical damage up, but as far as I can tell, that second buff is removed on turn 1. It's a little weird. They do this kind of back and forth where the boss will, like, charge up with a super cool buff, and then somebody else will come in and be like, not so fast, Star Fox. I can't let you do that, and then stop the buff. So, you don't have to deal with the sure hit thing, but the ignore defense and the attack up you do got to deal with. Their NP is AoE, because of course they all are, and lowers your NP gain and star gen for 3 turns. Skill number 1. Reduce your party's attack, critical, and NP damage for 1 turn. Oh, you wanted to hit me? No.
No.
Skill 2. Big defense increase. Similar to that previous boss, it's morph style. So, like, 1 turn of big defense up, and then 3 turns of, like, normal 1. Skill 3. Debuff resistance down, and then a chance to skill seal delayed. Oh yeah, by the way, this boss, 5 skills, actually. Skill 4. Stuns 1 random servant in the party. Skill 5. Evasion for 1 turn. So, yeah, just skills. Skills for days. What's that? You have 3 skills? No, this boss is so swole, they've got 5 skills. Break bar 1, your entire party gets skill sealed and NP sealed for 1 turn. Yay. Break bar 2, free NP, charge to max, revives the subparts, and every time the boss uses its NP, the subparts come back. That's right, you thought it was over. Oh no, the boss turns red. So those subparts have the same DOT and charm immunity. When defeated, they have a chance to skill seal you. Also, they have I think it's a skill activation to make the boss more resistant to Arts, Buster, and Quick, and make them immune to debuffs for like 1 time. So extra attacks still work. I'm going to eat this guy into space with Space Ishtar. He's going to space. Now, you still have those previously seen story buffs since the Dioscuri chapter, so those will proc all the way. Now here's the fucky part. That's right. All those, like, 4 bullet points previously, those weren't the fucky part. There are special mechanics in this boss fight. So, remember how I said that the boss has subparts, but you can't hit them with AoE? Basically, the boss rotates, for lack of a better word. So, it goes boss, then it rotates to O, then it rotates to G, then it rotates back to the boss. So, which enemy you can target is limited by where it is in the rotation. Except, you get special master skills for this fight. That's right, we're back to Golem Punch time.
Sick. Skill 1 deals 10k damage to the current enemy and moves them up. It's described as moving up. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it'll make sense in the context of the actual boss fight. But moves them up, deals them 10k damage, and also all parts of the boss get minus 100% defense for 3 turns.
Wow. Skill 2 does the same 10k damage and moves them down, and gives all parts of the boss minus 2 NP charges. Final skill strips all buffs from enemies, and gives your party a damage up and an NP charge. Unfortunately, the amount is not specified in the wiki, the fandom wiki, so I'm not sure how much it is, but, like, that's cool. Just AoE buff strip, fuck you. Yeah, I guess that's probably the way to put it. It's kind of like the Primal Tiamat sprite, but you actually, like, fight the bits, like, they rotate in and out. So, this is a big, clunky boss fight. Hey, remember how I said that was chapter 21? There's 27 chapters. Because that's not even the final goddamn boss fight. Why? Chapter 23, it's the rematch of the century. You must fight Canis and Wodaime. Again. First, you gotta fight Canis. You have Sherlock and Mash, they got all their story buffs and blah, blah, blah. And this fight is weird, y'all. So, when it starts, Canis adds an extra HP bar. So the total of HP bars is 160, 180, 210, 250. So 4 HP bars. Except, when you go to the purple bar, so you break the blue HP bar, Wodaime uses a command seal to give her back the blue bar. So you gotta do it again.
Oh, that is the fuckiest. Why?
Yeah, so you gotta do it again. Also, when you do bar break 1, Candace gets an on-hit buff to increase their attack for 3 turns. On the purple bar, the second time, Candace gets 5 turns of chance-based invul, so just randomly invul. And then, in general, Canis also has got a higher resistance chance against Skill Seal, NP Seal, and Stun, and may give you HP recovery down. Now, the battle does end when you reach the last HP bar, but, like, there's a lot of extra HP bars in there. You basically have to go through all 4, so even if though it stops at the last HP bar, you gotta do, like, 4 HP bars worth of damage. And then, finally, it's time for your rematch against Daime. He's still a caster, thank goodness, with 200, 270, 340 HP. So his HP bars have gotten smaller in the intervening chapters. So, for this battle, you must take Mash. She gets her buffs. She also gets a permanent NP gain up buff. And also, your Mystic Code cooldowns, they go by twice as fast. Basically, every turn counts as 2.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now, Wadaime has a fuck ton of buffs. So he's got critical resistance up. He negates defensive class damage on himself, so there's no class advantage from Riders, but he will still beat up assassins. He has 3 times of debuff immunity. He has 3 times more critical resistance, so he's got critical damage down on critical damage down. When he takes NP damage, when he takes damage from an NP, he heals 60k HP. Because fuck you.
That's bullshit.
And also, his normal attacks have a low chance to remove your buffs. Just, for free. Anytime he attacks, he could remove your buffs.
Why are you like this, Wadaime?
Also, as a skill, I believe, he can charge his NP by 2, and he can give you an on-attack debuff where you reduce your own attack when you hit him. Now, most of these buffs are timed for a few turns, so on break bar number 1, he replenishes all his spent buffs. And on break bar number 2, he replenishes all his spent buffs, and also he gets a free NP. His NP is the same as the one from the thing, only just, damage scaled appropriately. Well, just this guy. He gets so many buffs, and he just keeps bringing them back. You thought it was over, but it's not over. And then a lot of story happens. But it's not over until the pointy lady sings. You have one last dance with Canis for all the marbles. 180, 235, 290. You must take Mash and Sherlock. All those buffs I talked about for Canis before, scrub back in the audio, they all still hand. And also now Canis has that on-hit strip of your buffs, possibly. Break bar number 1 removes all your offensive buffs, removes 30 stars from you, and gives everybody minus 50 NP gauge.
Jesus.
Break bar number 2 gives Canis 5 hits of invul and 150k guts that cannot be removed. So, actually, there's a 4th HP bar hidden in this fight. So, yeah, no, there's a lot of these. But that's it finally for the boss mechanics. That's all of them. There's a fuck ton of them. Like I said, we start with bosses in Chapter 3, and we don't stop with bosses until, Chapter 26, I think, is where that final showdown happens, because there's kind of, some denouement stuff. But, it's bad. It's real bad. These are chunky. You may lose. Feel free to work on some stuff. In general, both with bosses and with mobs, expect a lot of Lancers. You will see a lot of HP recovery and a lot of guts. A lot of other revives as well. So, make sure to double check your enemies and be aware that when you think the battle is over, it's not actually over. They're going to come back. What I would say in general is that self-cleansing, debuff immunities, and buff block / buff removal are your friends. If you can take away the boss's buffs, if you can prevent them from giving themselves buffs, if you can remove your own debuffs or make yourself immune to debuffs, you will have a better time if you have access to those tools. Arguably, buff removal resistance probably comes into play. There's a couple of times where you might get your buff stripped. It's not as big of a deal, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
I feel like I'm not going to be able to progress through this very fast, honestly. There's going to be a lot of me beating my head against a brick wall until I find something to break through.
Yeah, I have thoughts about some of these bosses. I have plans to actually, if I can remember, to record what teams I use for what boss fights. We should probably take our sequential notes again based on the chapters, because we should do that so we remember things. Otherwise, we get lost and we don't remember what order stuff happens in. But I actually, when I do boss fights, I want to be and for this, I used this. Like I said, I plan to use some Kama a couple of times, because, there's an alter ego boss in here. What the fuck do you do? I'm going to eat him into space. I'm going to put him in a space arm. There's a lot of bosses with a diverse range of classes, so there's a few things to try out here. But my next bullet point says that this doesn't even begin to talk about the emotional devastation that is sure to come, because you notice how many boss fights I listed? That's still not all the chapters. There's 27 chapters, and an intermission. So, this is just the fights you have to do. This doesn't even include the fights you don't technically do because plot happens, okay? There's a lot. This is dense, and it's gonna fuck you up in more ways than one. I'm ready for it because, as always, FGO is a great emotional roller coaster, and I expect there to be some banging tunes. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Also, you may have noticed I did not specifically call out a tree. Funny. We'll see what that means later. But that is the boss stuff. So that just means we're left with our normal sort of things for pregame. Banner 1 should be Dioscuri, who is SSR Saber, and Canis, SR Lancer. Canis is story-locked to after you complete it, but the twins are permanent. There will also be new CEs. Banner 2 should be about a week later, and will be Romulus Quirinus plus CEs. It's kind of hard to avoid spoilers on banners, but he happens. He exists. Existences. Sorry about that pause. I was double-checking Audacity because it wouldn't pull up for a second. Audacity, you doing okay? We're getting a little freezy. Hold on. Let me stop down the audio for a second and make sure everything's okay. Record again. It's recording again. Okay. Just a little bit of lag there. Just wanted to double-check and make sure everything was functioning properly. Anyway, yeah. It took me more time to write this than to read this, obviously, but I am now become basement.
Just dig a hole! Dig a hole!
Dig a hole, because otherwise those bosses are going to put you in that hole.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there's some serious bean stuff here. You guys can tell from just the way I've listed the mechanics. And again, the key thing is a lot of these are tied up in the fact that you have some slightly randomized story buffs, so you don't know when those will proc. But also, a lot of this is just the boss's skill sets. They just have skills that do stuff that you can't control, unless you can skill seal them. But a lot of them are debuff immune, or resistant to skill seal. So, I will say, I think the primary difficulty measure that Delightworks included in this chapter, like mechanically, does seem to be the, basically, like I said, hidden HP bars. The extra gutses at the end, so you have to have the fight go on longer than you think it does. Other than that, there's just, like, a strong prevalence of, ignoring stuns, charms, and just generally being like, no, you can't NP. No, you can't K-scope. Like, there's clearly some effort made to make you actually do the fights. Hopefully this arms you with enough that you can actually get in there and do the fights properly. So we'll see how fast that progresses, because let me pull up the calendar. Yeah, so the stream is the 23rd, so that probably means that night is when it goes live. So we'll have had a couple of days to slug away at this by the time we record next. But yeah, that's the pregame. That still took us like 45 minutes.
Yep.
Obviously, some of that will compact down, but, it is how it is. But with that, I don't really have anything extra for the show. I mean, we can speculate about what's going on, but JP seems to have locked themselves in for the foreseeable future. We got, anime Japan stuff coming up, but that's still a few days away. Is that next weekend?
I
Chat, let
believe
me know.
so.
Fact, chat me. Haha.
Ha.
But there's that, so... That's obviously that will probably, like we said, include some high-level previews for the collab. Maybe they'll actually tell us what it is so we can figure it out. Let's see. Technically, next week is the last show. Yeah, next week is the last show in the month. The next time we record after that will technically be April 1st. We will probably not try and bamboozle you. We might do something funny, but I don't like when outlets do fake things on April Fools, because then you just think the thing is real. So we might do some gags, but I don't think we'll try and ooh, the show will be weird. That's funny. We could do that. Lucky could say this week on Let's Take After You, and I could actually read the other bit. We got a couple of weeks. We'll think of some stuff. But, so that probably means that, next week will be, obviously, first impressions of Olympus. You guys will hear however much Saint Quartz I have shoveled into the Canis problem has happened. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe it'll be like my Kirky luck. I'll get NP5 Canis before any Dioscuri show up. I'm not confident in that one, by the way.
Probably not, no.
My luck doesn't usually work that way. I know that's confirmation bias, but, it's always how you experience it. But that does mean that next week should be the week we do Fanservant Friday. Unsurprisingly, after 21 total votes, Saber Aeneas has won. So we, as with our expected Greco-Roman theme, we can tuck that in, and you guys can enjoy that next week. I had some fun with this one and updating it from some of my older notes, so hopefully that'll be curious, and we can talk a little bit about the Aeneid and what's up in it, and how a kind of weird self-inserty sequel fan fiction is older than you think. What's that, Virgil? You literally copied the beats of the Odyssey, but you make sure to stop every 5 minutes and talk about how Ulysses is a jerk face? It's just fic. And also we had to stop to mythologically explain why the Romans and the Carthaginians fight. Well, you see, Aeneas was super hot, and so was Queen Dido, but he had to leave to found Rome. Okay, thanks, buddy. But yeah, we'll get into that next time. I gotta think of what our shtick for April is. I'll come up with something. I got 2 weeks. But let's see. After all that work, I'm not exactly eager to extend out the show anymore, but I'm trying to think, is there anything else we want to cover?
I don't think so.
You've got like 5 days left in, well, about to be 4 days, but you've got like 5-ish days left in the APOC rerun. If you need to clean up your coins, don't forget about that. There are also a decent number of apples in those free quests, so if you're hurting after all those raids, get in there. I don't think there's any like outside media news that's FGO related. Arcade did have a stream, but I don't remember anybody freaking out, so I think it was just about the fact that they're actually releasing the new story content. And I presume that's why they talk about the Gramps banner, but since we already have Gramps, we don't care. We're fine. He already exists for us. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. But no, Battle in New York's until the 30th, so that's like a full 2 weeks. No, I think that's it. I guess we'll hit you guys back up, and we'll probably, next time, we'll be doing a recap of the Chaldea Broadcasting stream. Also, we'll probably, watch it in our Discord, and I'll yell at people to be quiet when stuff that's important is happening. We'll have by the time we record next, we'll have, obviously, our first impressions of Olympus. It should have been out for, at least a day. No, deep dive spoilers, but we'll be as far as we are, I guess. We'll see how far we get. I'll do Fan Servant Friday next time, like I said, because that'll be the last one. Yeah, I think that's all the stuff.
All the stuff.
Yeah, I know this one will be shorter, and I know sometimes you guys don't like that, and I don't know if YouTube likes it, but yeah, this is the pregame. Hopefully it was informative to you. Let me know if you guys were okay with some of the more technical deep dive. I think it kind of worked because, like I said, there's so many caps in this, guys. I just start rambling because it's crazy to me. I was literally scrolling down the list and okay, so there's that fight, okay, so there's that, and then they keep coming. You mean to say that Chapter 11, 12, and 13 are all back-to-back boss fights, none of which are chump fights? They all have their own gimmicks? Why? And then we gotta wait, too. This is it for story this year until, December, with Heian-kyo. So, I'm highly anticipating Olympus. Y'all are highly anticipating Olympus. Let's hope we have a good time. We only get punched a little bit. Olympus. And like I said, the map looks pretty sick. Literally, it's a mountain, and you go up it. They do, a low-angle shot. It's cool. You'll see the graphics. Yeah, okay, I guess that's everything. I tried to stretch it out a little bit, but I have no faff to faff.
Same here.
So, wish banners luck. I wish you good luck on your banners. We'll see you next time for more Let's Talk FGO. Be sure to check out What's Up. It'll be going on later today. I have beaten Horizon Forbidden West. I almost said Zero Dawn again. Guys, for the third one that you're inevitably going to make, do something about the name. Make it even more catchy so I can actually say it. I don't know, work a 3 in there somehow. Or I'll just have to start saying Horizon 3. I don't know. Anyway, I beat Horizon, so Lucky and I can talk about the full plot of that, plus some of our mechanical thoughts that I've been giving on and off. Lucky will also be streaming Strangers in Paradise, I believe.
Yes.
So you'll be able to get his first impressions on that actual game coming out. Hopefully, while this episode is cooking, I can actually play some goddamn triangle strategy. Finally. So I can maybe give my first impressions on that. I know it's a week late, but honestly 2 weeks late at this point, but you know what I mean. I'll be able to get in there, and we can talk about lots of other stuff. What's Up is a great time. It's just us streaming live. Lucky usually plays a game of some kind in there. Sometimes he plays 3 games, and we, talk about stuff, all kinds of stuff happening throughout the week, so it's a great way to get in there. And if you need to kill time while you cook or drive to work, you mop floors, you grind free quests, whatever, check it out. It's a good time. And you don't have to show up there live, you can always come in later, you can watch the VOD, whatever. It's good. Watch What's Up. Okay, well, I think it's time to, yeah, I had a big yawn. We were going for a while. Sorry, Kojima is trending on Twitter, and I don't know why. Other than just, he's cool, and he gets awards. He's a cool guy.
Listen, I've seen some weird-ass trends. Kojima can just trend for a minute. I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, we talked about that. Somebody had that alias with Ronnie in there. That's something I see trending all the fucking time. You thought the doll from Bloodborne was popular. No. We've put this to the next level. What I think it is the reason why Kojima may be trending is my top result on Twitter is the Game Awards So, your boy, Jeff Keighley, tweeting out that apparently 8 years ago today was Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Yes, I do remember seeing that, actually.
Neat. But, yeah, tune into, if you like that aside, where I just randomly check Twitter and stuff, check out What's Up. I'm going to roll my bones. No, not those bones, my actual bones. And let's do a little outro. So, if you are watching this video on YouTube and you liked it, be sure to give it a like. It helps the algorithm and it helps YouTube, feed you our content, honestly, but also feed other people our content. It's good. Do likes. They're important. Also consider leaving a comment down below. If you're prepared or not for Olympus, let us know. I suspect we'll get many people being like, I'm totally prepared. And then I'll get some people like, I play this on JP. I'm not prepared. So check them out. You can also hit up our Discord. Mentioned that earlier. It's in the video description and on our channel page. We've got a roll thread for rolls for when the banners happen. We got people talking about the stuff. We have a dedicated NA spoiler channel, so if you want to yell about the new content that's just come out, you can get in there. We've got, a games channel where people yell about Elden Ring and about King of Fighters mostly right now. I did see some Civilization posting, though. And also we do yell about other things occasionally. And sometimes we yell about JoJo in games because they announced a JoJo game. Anyway, if you want to yell about JoJo, we have an anime manga channel. And we have lots of other channels and stuff. We have a book channel. It doesn't get used a lot, but there's books in it. We talk about books that are cool. So join our Discord. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Get those subs in. You may want to make sure you're subbed, because if you don't know, if you're new here and haven't subbed yet, we do big episodes about story releases. Like, real big. We talk at length. We dissect the story a lot. We lay down on the floor and cry and talk to you about it. So if you're interested in that for like 5 hours, make sure you sub now. And if you're already subbed, make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when I post a new video. I will be working on a Wanted for Dioscuri sometime during the week. So, dial up your old pal, the notification bell, and you can know when we're streaming, when we're posting, when we're doing other stuff. You can also join our channel membership, get access to membership badges and emotes. I do believe, unless something happened while I wasn't looking, I think we're still one away from an emote slot. And even then, even if we're past that point, more memberships does eventually mean more emote slots. So, check it out, have fun.
Yeah.
Support us. Only $1.99 a month. Cheaper than gasoline. But also, like I said at the front of the show, you can also support us on Patreon. We have a Patreon. You can access the episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month, or roughly $10 a year. At higher levels, you get access to videos early and topic polls, like the Fan Servant Friday, and like some possible other future stuff we may or may not be doing, depending on how you guys feel about it. And at the 10 and up level, you can listen to Let's Talk FGO get recorded live. You could be part of the Peanut Gallery and basically get, like, priority commenting access, where, you get to interrupt the show with your comments.
Pretty priority.
Yeah. And so have a fun time. Get on there, shoutouts, all kinds of stuff. And as usual, it, does help support us out and is good for the channel and our growth and stuff. If I have to buy some scene quartz later, maybe it's good. Along with other stuff, I buy groceries. That was my lament earlier this week, was that I, ordered food that I need to eat to live. And I was like, food's expensive. Costs money. And yeah, that's the outro. This is the episode of Let's Talk FGO, the Olympus Pre-game one. I hope, like I said earlier, it was informative and cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll check you out next time. If you thought this episode wasn't long enough, I'm sure even with only 24 hours of it, next one will be bigger. We'll have more to yell about.
A lot.
So much yelling. Also, did I ever get a confirmation on when Anime Japan is happening, guys?
I don't think anyone did, but we'll figure it out.
We'll check in later. Hey, if you know when it is, even though I'll have no doubt received that information, feel free to leave those a comment. All right, okay. We've done all the yokes we can. We've done all the faff we can. I need to get this episode cooking so I can sleep sometime. So I think it's time to get on out of here. We'll see you guys next week for more Let's Talk FGO. Once again, make sure to tune into What's Up with Omega and Lucky. It's later. Check it out. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Or good day, or good morning, a good Uchronia, whatever.